Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight we have returning guests. I think this is her third time on the show, and it's a pleasure to have her back on. We have Clairvoyant Medium Debbie Anderson. We're going to talk about her oracle cards. She sent me a beautiful deck of oracle cards, Vibrational Energy. Everybody's heard me on here talk about using the tarot, and I'm kind of getting back into it, but I've never used an oracle card deck, and this is like the third one I've gotten. And tonight I'm kind of going to get a little bit of a reading, I think, here from Debbie using this deck, and I'm kind of learn how it works. And then later in the show, probably after the second commercial break, we'll take your phone calls in. You can get a reading from Debbie. Make it short like last week. I was just talking before the show with Jamie and Rob and Debbie about last week we had a great medium on, Carol Obley. It was her first time on the show. She blew us away. She was great. Well, that was when we had Debbie on. At least 2 years ago, I think, when she first came on. She blew us away then too. We had her back on within a couple months after that because she had such great readings with the callers. And that, mediums all in one after the other in December, it seems like, because I got a medium next week too. That one's going to be a pet medium, Rob Guccio, another returning guest. This time of year, I thought it's a good time to have meetings, because what is this time of year, we think about our past loved ones that we've lost. We start missing them, and we also start thinking about the future. We got 2020 coming, so it's a good time to try to talk to a medium, or somebody might have a psychic vision of what your future may hold with the holidays. That's all the stuff we think about. So call in tonight. I'll give those phone numbers out when we get to that second commercial break. And of course, we got a lot of weird in the World Wide Web of Weird, so let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight's guest is Debbie A. Anderson, Clairvoyant Medium. She's joining us actually on StreamYard. So unlike last week, we had our Carol Obley was great. We had her on the phone. We only had 2 phone lines open. Later in the show, we will have all 4 ways to call in open tonight. So we'll get more callers. I know I hung up on a lot of people last week. How you doing tonight, Debbie?
I'm doing very well, Jason. How are you?
Doing good. It's a pleasure to have you on. Like I said, I think this is your third time on the show. First time getting to use StreamYard. We get to show you the comments on the screen here from everybody joining. We got great chat rooms. Get to see it. It's great. And please, we were talking. You got a little preview of the World Wide Web of Weird. You had some great comments. Please join in on us with the World Wide Web of Weird when we get to that, because we got some weirdness, and I'd love to get your perspective on it. Speaking of weird, I love my weird lady, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Good evening to you. Very excited having Debbie back. You know how much I love her.
It's like, I know. And this is like our kind of our Christmas show. I don't have any Christmas music or decorations or anything, but I have a medium. I have a great medium here, Debbie. And I'm sure it's time of year to have mediums on the show. I really do think. All right, joining us from St. Augustine, Florida. There's some Christmas
decorations right there.
I don't know what kind. That's an interesting Santa Claus hat, but thank you for bringing the Christmas cheer, because I didn't have any decorations. Yeah, that's awesome. Rob runs the World Wide Web of Weird. Speaking of that, we got a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I thought I'd start out with two articles that are basically written by the same person. He's discovered Tyler Rogway from The Drive. I can't show the pictures he's discovered, but he's gotten satellite images of Area 51, and they're showing new craft out on the runway. And then another interesting article tied that we'll get to in a second. For those listening on our radio network, we are a webcast. You can watch us on our Facebook page, Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, or on YouTube under Jason Bland Paranormal Soup. You can watch it there, see the articles or videos that we show. This is just a regular Google image of it, but I've seen the pictures that he's put up on The Drive. This, what was his name? Tyler Rogway. I've seen the pictures, and you see like these like kind of boxes, like they're storage units for something they're putting out on the runway. This is the article from Unexplained Mysteries. Located at the north edge of the Nevada Test and Training Range, Tonopah is not a well-known as Area 51, but it has itself been used to test a number of secretive experimental aircraft over the years. Originally used to conduct flights of captured MiGs, the base was also involved in test flights of the Lockheed U-2 strategic reconnaissance aircraft, among others. But has U.S. Air Force been flying out of Tonopah in more recent years? Writing from The Drive, defense expert and author Tyler Rogway recently acquired and published satellite images showing several identical unidentified aircraft protruding from the hangars. The image was taken by Planet Labs PlanetScope satellite on December 6, 2019. According to Rogway, these particular hangars, which were originally built to house F-117s, contain at least one secretive aircraft that has been previously spotted more than on one occasion. This particular image is unique because it shows an unusual level of activity. It remains unclear exactly what this aircraft could be. However, Rogway speculates that it could be a derivative of the RQ-170 Sentinel of the U.S. Air Force secreted unmanned combat aerial vehicle. Brings me to Terminator, people. Brings me to Terminator every time. Like, I don't like the idea of these unmanned aerial vehicles carrying heavy weapons. You know, you can't see it in this picture. This is a regular Google picture. We don't want to show because those are like copyrighted to them. But you can check it out on The Drive. Like it says, by Tyler Rogway. And we're got some interesting UFO stuff that ties into kind of this stuff tonight. The next article is also related to another article Tyler wrote for The Drive, using Unexplained Mysteries because they have the short articles. His articles are a lot longer, but I thought this is hilarious. These are called foggles. Foggles, people. Area 51 visitors are forced to wear foggles. It's certainly no surprise that Area 51, which iconically is probably the best known secret base in the world, has some particularly tight security measures in place to stop people finding out what's there. But while keeping unauthorized personnel from entering the facility is relatively simple, stopping official visitors from seeing more than they need to see in another matter entirely. In a recent article, The Drive defense expert author Tyler Rogway describes one trick that officials at the base employ to get around this problem. Kitting out visitors with special goggles that are designed to deliberately obfuscate I cannot talk. Anything not directly in front of the front or below them, known as foggles. These strange items of eyewear are composed of fogged out wraparound lenses with clear area covering only the directions the wearer needs to see. Such goggles are used for pilot's instruments training. That's the picture I got up here. So for pilot training, but this is basically what a foggle is. According to Rogway, visitors without appropriate clearance are frequently issued with foggles so that they cannot look at anything around them as they arrive at the facility and can only remove them once they have entered a secure windowless building. Even VIPs visiting the facility may be issued them depending on who they are. I mean, well, you know, what kind of VIPs are you like? Here, Mr. President, you have to put these on. You know what kind of clearance you have and what is going on around them that immediately that they're worried that somebody, if they see this, boom, national security clearance problems. Oh my God. You know, is it that obvious what they got going on around? I mean, most, you know, especially civilians probably like, I don't know what the hell that is. It could be a car engine for all I know, you know. I don't know.
When I used to drink, I felt like I was wearing foggles sometimes.
I swear, though, I mean, you know, if people are talking, oh, there's nothing going on at Area 51 anymore. If they're making people wear foggles,
yeah, there's something going on.
There's plenty going on.
Yeah.
But moving on.
Nothing going on, but we just don't want
nothing to see here, not through your foggles. Okay. Maybe they could have done the Area 51 whole raid thing and just said, here you go, people, just take the foggles.
Wear the foggles and
you're fine.
We're going to put a lock on them so you can't take them off.
This next one is a silver donut UFO. Speaking of things they don't want people to see, this is from a South Carolina man driving down the highway last week was compelled to pull over to the side of the road after he spotted a strange object in the sky, which he likened to a silver donut. The odd sighting reportedly occurred last Wednesday evening as Albert Roberts, man, his parents were not kind, was heading towards the city of Anderson. His trip took a strange turn when he looked up in the night sky and saw an unusual object that left him mystified. Fortunately, Roberts was able to capture the weird scene on video, although the anomalous object in the sky is fairly hard to discern. During the sighting, the witness marvels that I don't really know what that is. I can see like a black hole in it, like a black circle in the middle of it. It kind of looks like a shiny donut almost. It really does. We'll get to it in a second. Indeed, at some point during Roberts' footage, the camera does focus on the object long enough to seemingly indicate there is a dark circle in the center of the circular anomaly. Go ahead and play it there, Rob.
Okay, Robert, going to play Robert's video here.
Albert.
I don't really know what that is. I can see like a black hole in it, like a black circle in the middle of it, visibly. It's not catching it on the camera.
Where's the police helicopters? It looks like a shiny donut in the sky.
Almost.
Bump, bump, bump.
That black circle in the middle is actually there. I don't really know what that is. Here in Anderson, South Carolina, I'm trying my best low. Back out. That's the traffic. And it's right above the traffic. Right.
And it's just hovering. It's not like it's moving. There's no flashing lights like aircraft would give, like, you know, the red and green lights, floodlights, like the next one we're about to watch. That's causing a lot of controversy. So that's one UFO video. That's interesting. It does look like a shiny donut in the sky. It's interesting what might be there. And if people are trying to call in right now, like somebody just did, just hold on. We're not taking calls yet. Sorry, not yet. Okay, so this next one's causing a lot of controversy. I've seen a lot of people arguing over this one. Not that picture. Don't show that. That you're getting to the punchline.
Sorry.
Go to the video.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right. The only article I have on is from IntelliHub, and it doesn't name the person, but this is from UFOs over Las Vegas. It's a YouTube channel. A massive unidentified flying object was captured on film by a resident who claims he shot the footage from his backyard in Summerlin area on Thursday night. The man who captured the object on the video said the object was hovering over the Blue Diamond Mine when he first fired up his camera. Here it goes, he said. It's getting ready to go now. The object took off fairly high rate of speed and emitted no sound, according to the witness. The object eventually headed over Luxor Beam, from the Luxor hotel there, towards Neal's Air Force Base, where it was last spotted. Now, all right, before we play this video, I only have like a 20-second clip. So you go to UFOs over Las Vegas. It's a 6-minute video, and it's worth a watch. All right, so the critics right away, I've seen Para Breakdown, I've seen Michael Barra show this video and comment on it. All of the critics are like, it's a helicopter. Okay, I get that too, and you do see the flashing lights, the fog floodlights, even it's a little green and red. I think I see in there for the lights you have to be up in the air. The witness, and I've seen comments on his YouTube channel. There's people in Vegas commenting they saw this too, and they're saying, one, this thing was way too big to be a helicopter. Two, he's saying it went from one point to another. In this video, you'll see it fly around. That it had to have traveled 1,000 miles an hour. I don't know if he has his depth perception right or his measurements right. He lives there. I don't know. I still think it's possibly a helicopter. Now, go ahead. Let you guys now. Don't judge it off as just this short clip. Go watch the whole thing, and you'll make your judgments later. But I'm not. I think it's wrong to right away say it's a helicopter. I mean, I understand that gut reaction, but you have a witness and other witnesses saying they heard nothing and it was bigger. So we have to give it some consideration here. And go ahead and play.
To the southwest. This is in the southwest. This thing looks big. It looks big. It looks like it's a long ways away. So anyway, I get the night vision on it. And right now I remember. Hear that night vision he's using. My Nikon.
So he's using night vision. A lot of people I saw comments, oh, it's such a bright light. And well, yeah, he's using IR. He's using a night vision on it. Whatever lights are going to be on an aircraft are going to be pretty bright. the question is the distance he's saying right? Is it as massive as he's saying it is? That's the question. And is it silent? He said he heard no sound. I've heard I when I see videos like this, and especially it's a local one where there's people that could be living there posting stuff. I'm waiting for another video of it, but I have seen comments from people who said they saw the same thing. Now, okay, you saw it. Did you record it? There's plenty of people carrying cell phones, so we need other video footage of this. Now, if this was a helicopter standing right under, be like, oh, that's a helicopter. He did post another video where he shows a helicopter in the area, but it's a lot closer. And you can tell it's a helicopter, but he's like, well, so you can tell this is a helicopter. Well, you got to show me one the same distance on your IR camera. I don't know. I don't think people should have a gut reaction, just kick it off and say it's a helicopter. We should analyze it. I don't have time to analyze this whole thing on the show. There's a lot of things that indicate to me that it's a helicopter, but I don't know. And it all depends. If there's another witness that comes out with a video that collaborates, especially the no sound part, then I would definitely think it needs more consideration.
Looking at the lights in the foreground, I know there's some big lights there in Vegas, and this thing is obviously way further away than those places in the foreground. So I would agree that it's pretty big and pretty bright.
It does look pretty big and pretty bright, but the brightness part, like I said, the IR lights.
Yeah.
It is going to do that. It seems there, even Michael Berra, when he was talking about it, he was making a couple comments that, okay, I think it's a helicopter, but this seems a little odd. Like he said, there were some things that seemed odd, and I could agree with that. Now, there might be reasons for it being odd. I don't know. This wouldn't explain the size factor, because I think this thing would not be any bigger than a helicopter, because it's a car. It's a flying car. Go ahead and show them this next picture here, because what they're going to be having is a flying car demonstration in Las Vegas of this new flying car by Hyundai. And it's January 7th. They could be there. Some people are saying they're testing this thing out, flying it around Vegas right now. And this could be what people are seeing. And it would be quieter than a helicopter. So that might be to explain the lack of sound, but not the size or the speed, because this guy's saying it's going like 1,000 miles per hour, which no way.
Well, hopefully they're doing some testing with this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always said the flying car thing kind of got pushed back after 9/11. It's like, when people like that, if you were to time travel somebody from 1985 and saw Back to the Future or whatever, saw the flying car, and they come here now and be like, where's the flying cars? Like, that kind of got shut down. Some stuff happened. Yeah. But it is coming. Flying cars are coming. They're more drone-like now. And that's why, this thing could be quieter. It could be them testing it out. Again, it doesn't explain the size. So there might be more on this story coming out, or it's just a helicopter. I like I said, I saw a number of people commenting it's just a helicopter. And I get that. It does look very helicopterish to me. Okay, let's move on before we run out of time. This next one is really, really weird. I don't know. This could be just, I don't know. All right. So workers in Russia are lost to explain a mysterious incident in which a heavy glass dome covering a massive meteorite inexplicably elevated on its own. The strange event reportedly took place this past weekend at the State Historical Museum of Southern Urals, which is located in the city of Chelyabinsk. One of the signature attractions at the site is an enormous 1,100-pound piece of meteorite that famously fell to Earth back in 2013 and caused considerable damage to the community. At the museum, the meteorite is housed under a rather sizable pyramid-shaped glass dome, which became the center of weird mystery on Saturday. As patrons were mulling around the space rock, the covering suddenly rose a few inches above the display case, setting off alarms and causing considerable consternation for the museum administrators. We spoke to all our specialists in electronics and wiring, who said unanimously it was impossible to have opened by itself, the museum director told local media outlet. Yet it happened. He went on to explain that the only way that the display could be lifted is via a remote control, which was actually locked away at the time of the incident. The strange turn of events led to some museum workers jokingly offering supernatural explanations that the meteorite was somehow sentient and looking to escape the site. Others expressed concern that perhaps the raising of the lid was a test of the facility's security system by would-be thieves and plans to pilfer the prized space rock. That's a good theory. I don't know. Or is it like, somebody that, one of those people standing there just got superpowers? That's somebody just became a superhero. I don't know. Like, you are the chosen one. The lid lifts up and gives them the power. I don't know. It's weird though. Go ahead and play it again.
Flipping their remote control garage door opener and whoa, what?
What is going on? Why is my garage door open? I think their security is a little better than that, I hope. But something's up with their security. It just does lift off on its own. That is weird. I don't know. We're going to run out of time, though. We got to move on. That is weird, though. That is weird. This next article maybe has, I don't know, something to do with that. I don't know. Probably nothing to do with it. But the magnetic, this is something that's always scared me a little bit, is the idea that our actual magnetic poles move. They don't sit in one spot. They're moving. Well, this article here, magnetic North Pole is headed for Siberia. Contrary to popular belief, the geographic North Pole, the northernmost point of Earth's surface, is not actually the same as a magnetic North Pole, the point at which the planet's magnetic fields point vertically downwards. The magnetic North Pole has traditionally been located in the Canadian Arctic. However, over the last 20 years, has been slowly moving towards Siberia at a rate of 34 miles per year. Oh, hold on. My computer's doing something weird. There we go. Okay. According to the latest daily release from National Center information, the British Geological Survey, this move is likely to continue for many years to come, at a slightly slower speed of 20 miles per year. Accurate data is essentially because it's critical to the functioning of the GPS navigation systems. It's amazing that computers can keep up with this movement where they all depend on it for satellites and that. The reason for the magnetic North Pole's movement is due to a weakening of the planet's magnetic field. However, it's not fully understood which such a decline should be happening. Now, this is my thing. Everybody's talking about global warming and all this stuff. I'm like, realize we could be taken out by a number of things that have nothing to do with what we're doing at all. And one of the things is a pole shift. And eventually that's where this will head. North will become south and south will become north. And does it happen violently? Does it happen gradually? I mean, this looks like gradual. What do they say here? It's not a question of if it's going to reverse, talking about the North and South Pole. The question is when it's going to reverse, said Clara Bennigan of the British Geological Survey in Edinburgh. And that, when is it going to happen? Everybody was talking about this right before 2012. Like, that's when it's going to happen, 2012. Well, it didn't happen in 2012.
I always felt it would be something gradual and slow.
Let's hope, because I've seen the doomsday documentary stuff and all that, and they make it look like the Earth's gonna flip, man. I don't know. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. And maybe that's it for that. Maybe that's why we're getting ready for 2020, and there's sure enough in the media to make it feel like the world's going to pot. Literally, I don't know. Florida. It's not just Florida anymore.
No, it's spread from here.
We can blame Florida. It's all right, Rob.
Okay.
We can just blame Florida.
Well, deal with it.
I'm surprised not so many people are, we're going to get the doomsday stuff for 2020. It's going to happen. Every year there's doomsday stuff, but it's really going to be hard in 2020 because we're going to have all the crazy politics and all the doomsayers and all that stuff. So when you see these articles, this one, another one from Unexplained Mysteries, apocalyptic sky sounds heard in the Netherlands. We're going to play them here for a minute. I don't have the video. I just have the audio of it. The unnerving phenomenon was recorded on the evening of December 9th and 10th by Roy Van Zaan, whose Facebook uploads have since generated a great deal of interest and debate. I received messages from people saying that I've edited this, but I did not do that, he said during one radio interview. I'm glad I wasn't the only one who heard these sounds, as I thought I was going crazy. The sounds, which can be heard in the video, which I'm going to play here in a second, resemble a sort of loud brass trumpet or metallic scraping. However, it's unclear what is producing them or how far away. We've had several of these throughout the years on Worldwide Web. We're 4 years we've been doing this. Some have gotten explained away, some have not, and it's just a story, and we read it and it goes away, and we wonder what are the trumpet sounds. I think they're the creepiest thing in the Worldwide Web we ever cover, because I don't know. It could be explainable sounds. I have train tracks here, and there's a place where they offload trains, and there's weird noises that they make in the middle of the night. You hear if somebody suddenly is just up for the wrong reasons or notices them, they'd be like, wow, is that the trumpet sounds? They sound just like this. That's what I always think, is it got to be mechanical or something they don't know, but it's always residents. They should be familiar with the sounds in their area, but I don't know. Some people say they could be cranes that are using on a construction thing. They're just hearing it, but this is loud. I wish I could play the video part of it. Let me go ahead and play the audio.
If the plates are shifting from the North Pole, those underground plates moving, maybe they make some noise.
They're echoing in the sky.
Exactly.
Play it again. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm.
like the ship coming down and trying to like make music to communicate. Like somebody need to get out there with a keyboard and call back to the trumpets. If it's trumpets, they're bad trumpet players. It's like they always say the sound of trumpets. I'm like, yeah, really bad ones. They need to learn how to play. It always sounds like an 8-year-old getting his first trumpet trying to blow on it. That's what I always think about these things. You think if it would be like actual God heavenly trumpet sounds, it'd be some good trumpet players.
Or like somebody warming up, it sounds like.
And maybe that's the scary message, is they're warming up
Yeah.
for the end of the world. I don't know.
You gotta play some trumpets. It's like hear some Dixieland jazz or something.
Right. You know, we'd get some like good music out of it. You know, it's the end of the world trumpets. You think wouldn't it be some 8-year-old trying it out? I don't know. But that's it for the Worldwide Web of Weird. We have a wonderful guest with us tonight, Debbie Anderson. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy the Worldwide Web of Weird.
I certainly do.
But we are going to open up the phone lines, not after this first commercial break. It'll be after the second. So just hang in there. I already had some people trying to call in. Just hang in. I want to talk to Debbie because, Debbie, it's been a while. It's been at least, I think, a year since we had you on. So I want to catch up. And we want to learn about this. She sent me this beautiful Oracle deck that I want to learn how to use. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And maybe next Psychic Game Night, I'll have the ability to do a reading with one of these. I wanted to wait until I learned from Debbie herself. So, all right, guys, we'll be back after the short commercial break. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, share the show out. Tell your friends about Paranormal Soup. That's the best way to help this show. You can also donate $2 a month on Patreon. That does help the show. But sharing it out and telling everybody about Paranormal Soup is the number one way to help this show. All right, guys, we'll be back after the short commercial break.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do voices from beyond the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It's called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Certificate A. Now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
This is an APAC studio presentation. It's the holiday season, and many people can't wait for that special day when they get to open their gift, just as unbearable can be the wait for the cold comfort of the grave. But friends, you don't have to die to sleep like the dead. This Christmas morning, give the gift of a coffin-quality pillow. Why make your loved ones wait till the afterlife for the comfort of rest eternal when you can give a coffin-quality pillow today?
Coffin Quality Pillows by Serta. Available everywhere tasteless items are sold. Coffin and grave sold separately.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
He is conducting an experiment into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
This fall, a new hard-hitting police drama is coming to Friday night. He was a well-to-do cop transferred to a troubled precinct downtown. His new partner is a space traveler with a passion for justice. It's Yuppie and the Alien.
Look, you might vaporize dissidents in Alpha Centauri, but in this precinct, we do it by the book.
I'm so terribly sorry, Captain.
Goog, I'm sorry. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind police drama. They're fighting crime the hard way in designer clothes with $250,000 sports car and a UFO.
Partner, let's go cruise in the car and look moody.
One tough downtown precinct, two outsiders doing things their way. Yuppie and the Alien on VBC.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Debbie Anderson, Clairvoyant Medium. Born in England, Debbie is a natural healer who has worked in the magical sphere of spirituality all her life, bringing forth many modalities that have manifested and evolved along the way. She's been insightfully using tarot decks and giving intuitive spiritual readings for over 30 years in the UK, Canada, US, Australia. She now lives in Ontario, Canada. As a clairvoyant medium, her abilities have opened her to many mystical communications, including the creation of vibrational energy, which she defines as being gifted to her from spirit. The Vibrational Healing Energy is a hands-on healing technique which applies the gentlest touch of one vibration with another by way of communicating with the body, mind, soul, and allowing the self to create an individual energy pattern to live and heal by. This led her to creation of her many healing and products and services. Debbie's a writer, healer, medium, mother, daughter, wife, grandmother, friend, and an ever-evolving spiritual vibrational being. And this is her third time on the show. She blew us away the first time we had her on. We took calls. She did amazing readings. Just like last week, we had a new medium on, Carol. She blew people away. I remember when I had Debbie on, that's what it reminded me of, is how well Debbie did on those readings. We brought her back on, I think 2 months later. So this is why we have it on for a third time. I got this lovely Vibrational Energy Oracle card deck we're going to talk about tonight and how to use it. And then we'll open up the phone lines after the second commercial break, and I'll give out those phone lines. Call in tonight. Get your short reading from Debbie. It can't take up a lot of time, but, about 5 minutes or so, I would say would be good. But wait till after the second commercial break, because we got a lot to talk with. So let's go ahead and get to our guest. Thank you for joining us on Paranormal Soup again, Debbie.
Thank you, Jason.
Now tonight, we've had you on. We've talked about your abilities, and I do want to, we might have some new listeners, so I gave a little introduction there for you. But I would like you to tell a little bit more about yourself to the audience for the people that might have missed you on the show before.
I suppose, in a word, I see dead people, or sense dead people.
I see dead people.
I see dead people. Yes, and
like Bruce Willis.
Well, that's what that's how I introduce myself to sometimes with people. So what exactly do you do? I see dead people. Easy enough.
Just get that out of the way. I see dead people.
It's either going to ignite
Your Uncle Bob says hi.
Extinguish a conversation. Hi, Rose.
Well, we were talking about this on the last week's show with the meeting we had on about, you see like the TV shows and you see, certain psychic mediums just like walking up to complete strangers at Walmart or I mean, you're really asking for it at Walmart. I don't know if she does that, but really, just walking up to people in her everyday life and saying, oh, hello, I have a message from spirit from you. I mean, do you do that?
No, I don't. And I love that people can do that, but I also, I was brought up, I suppose, old school, and it's a permission-based thing. So if somebody I'm talking to, like you or anybody on the show, and they're into that kind of thing, and I'm getting a message from spirit for them, then it's okay to share it. But usually I have to ask permission anyway from that person. So to walk into somebody else's energy and just basically splurt out or say these things, I just wonder whether that's I wonder how much goes on and how much is on the cutting room floor.
Right.
Where the pre-recorded show, how much actually goes on the cutting room floor of somebody saying, how dare you, or that's whatever it is. So
or we need you to stand here and she's gonna, do you want a reading from her? Yeah, okay. All right, she's gonna walk up to you and you gotta act like you don't know what's going on and be actually surprised, and then she's gonna do a reading. Okay, and here's a non-disclosure and permission and sign this and that. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And TV.
I think it's great that that's happened because it has opened the sphere for readers like myself and clairvoyants and mediums that it's a little bit more acceptable. I wouldn't do it myself personally. So I think that's the only way I could.
Well, it can be a very private matter. Like tonight we're doing short readings. It's like 5 minutes long. You're not going to get into the stuff you would get into normal reading with somebody.
Yeah. It's boundaries. Like everything has boundaries, I think.
Now the permission thing, you were telling me something that happened with a home you live in. That wasn't permission, but that did come to you. That did come to you. So are there instances where somebody's loved one does come to you. You want to tell that little bit of story?
Exactly. Yeah. At the moment, I'm in Mazatlan in Mexico, and we're renting a house here from a Mexican family. And we have an agent who deals with all that kind of thing. And so the first night, I get up to walk across to the bathroom, and there's a door one end, which is the front door, and then a door the other end, which is into the patio. And of course, there was no lights on, just the street lights outside. And I saw the shadow of this man standing at the front door. So of course, there's that fight or flight thing that kicks in there. And I sort of open my eyes, like, is this somebody that's just broken into the house here? And then there's that, oh no, it's okay, because he's smiling at me. And
again, Debbie, I have to point out, like I did before the show, just because they're smiling at you and they're in your home doesn't mean it's a good thing. Sociopaths can smile.
So I realized that this was a spirit being, and he then went on to explain who he was, and that he was to do with the family that owned the property, and he wanted to get a message through to somebody in the family. So of course I'm going, okay, in Mexico, it's very Catholic based, very structured religion, even though they have the Day of the Dead, which can open some of those doors. So the agent who organized the rental, we rented through her last year, so she knows what I do. So it's not been a huge topic of conversation, but I approached her, I messaged her, and I said, okay, Claudia, this is what happened. And I don't know why, you maybe know the family better than, I certainly don't, but this gentleman wants to get a message through, etc. So I'll leave it with you of whether or not you feel you want to share this. And it turned out that the family were very open. the gentleman was her father, and I had described him, and they sent me a photograph of him, which he was a lovely man. And of course, when he was showing me, he said, I had a lot more hair then than I do now, which was quite sweet. But so we had this little thing, I shared everything. Well, the next night, and of course, I love spirit, they wake you at 3 a.m. in the morning. And he started to say,
I would love spirit for that.
Gosh. So I'm laying in bed, and he's hovering, he's standing over me, and I open my eyes like, no, not now, please. I am trying to sleep. This is not a good time. Come back later. So he was insistent that he wanted to pass this message on to a family member that he was concerned about. So I said, okay, I will do that. And he said, no, you need to wake up and write it down because you may forget. Like, no, I won't forget. I promise I won't forget. And first thing in the morning, I'll message the agent to let the family know. And then he kissed me on the forehead, and then he was gone. And of course, afterwards, when I shared the message, the family came back and said, yes, that this was going on with a particular member of the family. And yes, that was something that he did. So that was a beautiful experience. But I'm going, so I'm here on vacation and I'm working and things like that on some projects, but I'm not doing readings for anybody. So that's what I mean by permission-based. Now, if the agent had felt, the rental agent had felt that this wasn't an acceptable thing, that is where everything would have stopped. It would not have gone any further than that, and that is the respect part that I have to abide by.
But sometimes you got to think some spirits are like, hey, she's a medium, and they insist.
Yes. Well, I love the movie with Ricky Gervais some years ago where once spirit realized that he could see them, they followed him around everywhere. It's like he can see us, quick follow him, and he can help us, kind of thing.
Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost,
Yes, exactly.
Like she's being a fake medium, and then she actually can see Patrick Swayze. He doesn't leave her alone.
I think
that's what I've always wondered about it. It's like, yeah, you have like your office hours and you do have a way of shutting it off, but there's got to be times where that don't matter. There's a spirit and it's got a message.
The fact that he was there and he startled me, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, share it, and then let's move on from there. All I can do is I can see if that's okay. And most of the time, the message there is something that the person needed to hear. And in fact, the owner wants to meet with me at some point in the new year and just sit down and we can have a chat. So I love that they're open to that. And I am not sure what will come through, who will come through, or anything else. But I'm going to need a translator there because my Spanish is...
Right. No habla español.
Yeah. Habla inglés.
Oh man, yeah, but that's it's an interesting thing though. You physically, you thought a person was in your home. You at times see spirit physically standing right there. Now, not all mediums do that. Some mediums, it's all what they see in their mind's eye.
And of course, there with mediumship, there's seeing, there's sensing, there's
hearing.
Sometimes there's even tasting. You can taste as well. There's all the different sentience, if you like, are there. And I suppose I'm one of those that has a mixture. And I always say to people, when I'm doing a reading for somebody, it's like this huge interpretation of things going through. I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it, and I'm trying to put all that into a bag and then pass it over to the person that's sitting before me. Because otherwise, I always say, if you could actually see what was going on, you go, she's a loop-de-loop. She's a crazy lady because she's seeing this and hearing that. And,
Are some spirits better at communicating than others? That's what it seems like.
Well, I sometimes wonder whether or not it's, I think it was John Edwards. And if I'm quoting wrong here, I apologize. But he said his spirit up here and here's the communicator down here. One has to come down, one has to come up, then they connect. Now they have to find a language in which they communicate. So I sometimes think I'm speaking Spanglish because sometimes it's like you're trying to get something, or they go all the way around the houses. So maybe it's me, I'm not understanding it. Maybe it's them that's trying to communicate it. So it's one of, I think it's a combination of all those things, because they don't talk or communicate the way you or I are having this conversation now. It can be in images, it can be thought processes. And here's the thing I love about spirit, because a few years ago when I was back in England, when my dad was dying, my twin brothers and I, and there's a 3-year age difference between us, so we grew up fairly close together in age and things that we did. And they were sharing some things that we, the three of us, had experienced together, and I couldn't remember them. So imagine that with somebody
Really?
in spirit. Oh, well, I have twin brothers that I've written about called the Terrible Twins. And they got at some really crazy antics, and we could spend a whole show just talking about them. But anyway, so some of the things I'm sure I've just erased from my memory because they were so scary. And others I just,
Were they paranormal things, though, that you didn't remember?
No, my family was a very, what I call grounded and into mischief. Twins getting into mischief. Young boys that just would be able to create and look for mischief where there wasn't. And as I say, I could tell you some stories, and I've actually written a part of a book with some of the antics they got up. And some can be quite funny, but some can be quite scary. So just having that experience where they were sharing things and I couldn't remember. So here's somebody that comes back from spirit. They have this great memory that they're trying to share, that they're hopeful you remember, and the person on the other side is sitting there is going,
oh yeah, you would see it on the shows, like John Edwards, and then maybe like people like, I don't know, and then they go back and find out, like, yeah, it was this, from the other family members.
Yeah, sometimes people will let me know. They'll email me or they'll message me, and I can remember doing some when I was on tour once. I had readings with private readings with people, and I had just finished one reading, and the person that was organizing it said, the lady that was before wants to come and see you. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I've got another client coming in a moment. And she said, I just wanted to let you know, when we were talking, you were talking about this, this, and this, which had erased from my memory at that point. She said, I went and had lunch with my sister, and she told me, yes, that happened, and all those kind of things. So for me, I suppose that's additional proof. But at the time, we can't always remember, or it doesn't always jive with us. So it was great that she came back to tell me. And as I always say, I can only share what I'm getting here, and I'm hopefully that you can interpret it, that it's understandable for you.
What I've always thought about it is, to explain it, the way, people are like, well, why can't the spirit just talk directly to you? Why it has to be images and this, why can't they just tell you all the straight information? I go, think about your own thoughts. Yeah, you can speak in your mind, but if you think about it, under your speaking in your head, there's all these other little thoughts you have, and backwards thoughts and stuff going on in your head. Really, you learn this in meditation. You learn how the monkey mind is rattling not just one voice, but a billion little things going on, and try to use that to communicate. You can't talk. It's just all your thoughts going into somebody else. You'd be like, wait, what are you talking? What are you saying? I'm getting this and this and this.
And of course, for spirit to communicate, it does take a lot of energy. We were talking about ghosts earlier on, and I remember there was a scene in that movie where Patrick Swayze was on the train, and the guy making the cans move.
We talked about this last week. Yes.
And how much energy it took, and he did it with anger. So, sometimes when there's those bangs in the night or something like that, when my dad came back just a few days after he's passed, he managed to make our doorbell ring. And,
oh, wow.
And our doorbell hasn't rung at that time at all. And of course, Easter Sunday morning, I'm going, I live in a condo in Ontario, and I'm going, who would be ringing my door at 10 a.m. on Easter Sunday? Give me a break, kind of thing. So sort of walking to down the hallway to the door, and then as I got there, I'm going, the doorbell doesn't work. And I'm like, Dad, you could have just come in. Truly, you could have just walked in. You didn't have to go through all this plum. But that's my dad. He would make in my brother's home. He turned up the heating, and of course, when he was dying, he lived for many days in Australia. So coming over to England in January, February time, it was freezing. And so my brother had to have the heating cranked up to the full. We were all standing there in t-shirts, and I would run outside into the back garden just to cool down because it was so hot in the house, but Dad was still so cold. So that was his way of letting my brother know, hey, it's me. And, you know, he had another experience where the TV went on. Now, in England, they have the living area downstairs and then go upstairs to the bedroom. And he said they had been watching a documentary with Morgan Freeman about life after death. And they had gone to bed, and they were the only ones in the house. And all of a sudden, they could hear the TV playing downstairs. Now, you know, you have to switch it off with the remote.
Was it Morgan Freeman's voice? It'd be hilarious.
I could just hear the TV playing, and it was like loud music and so forth. And I said, well, it was Dad's way of just letting you know that you know, to take note. And, you know, so, but that's Dad. He'll come back and tell me things that my brother's getting up to, and then I'll message my brother and I say, so you're playing poker this weekend? And my brother doesn't play poker very often. Like, how did you know? And I said, but Dad, because he's going to be there. He wants to play. You know that.
Well, it's interesting. You know, we bring this up before, is that it seems a lot of electronics for spirits. It seems to be their easy go-to method. If you have strength to do something, it's something to electronics.
Well, just, you know, I had a lady recently. She said, actually, it was to do with my husband, Chris. She was had gone to get a new phone in, her phone had died, so she went to buy a new phone. She went into the store, and the guy went out to the back, picked up a phone, switched it on, so hadn't even got her SIM card in it, and an image of my husband's face came up, and the girl said, oh my God. And he said, oh, I don't know how that's happened. She said, well, I was thinking I wanted to go to his talk, and now it's confirmation that I need to connect with him and do this. So for spirit to create these images and these things to happen, I think
synchronicities, you know, that's the other, you know, that's the whole other mind-boggling thing, is when you get into synchronicities, somehow, how do they manage that? Electronics I can buy, but when, man, the synchronicity stuff is just boggles the mind. How do they pull that off?
Well, how Chris and I met, you know, the things that spirit must have moved and shifted to actually get us to meet in the first place in the UK. Like, after we had sat down, after we had actually met, and I said, well, I worked at this particular center and all these different things. And we're like, how do we not meet each other? And of course, spirit was just going, yeah, you guys are really hard work for us.
Well, you know, you wonder, because, you know, Chris Lee, we've had as a guest on now, I think twice or three times, you know, with past lives and all that stuff, how that plays into this. And I know Chris says, you don't get it, you know, don't let a psychic tell you about your past life. You got to experience it. You know, we had last week's guest, she was telling people about their past lives. I'm like, well, it's all right to hear about them, you know, but you got to wonder how that does play into a reading. Like, you know, it's not just what's going on in this life. It could be a lot of things going on in other lives that have affected this moment now, you know, to what people are going through in a reading.
Albert Einstein said past, present, and future are all going on at the same time. And I do believe that, because there are so many incidences that we wonder, you know, have we stepped back, have we stepped forward, or are we actually present where we actually are at the moment? And, you know, people have had these experiences where they feel, am I stepping into a past, or am I stepping into something, you know, the deja vu thing to start with. And I'm not going to go into his territory at all. Otherwise he'll come out and probably go, shut up.
Well, you know, we'll get in your territory here too, because, you know, did you start out when you started doing readings on tarot, using tarot?
Well, I did, and that was the thing when I was growing up. I'm 62, okay? So when I was growing up, there wasn't internet. There was not stores in England that sold metaphysical things or tarot decks.
Right.
Somebody asked me, how did you, you know, get your deck? I don't know. I had a Rider-Waite deck, and that was always, it was my go-to deck. I loved it. I just worked very well with it. And even today, of all the beautiful tarot and decks that are out there, that is my one that I'll use if I'm going to incorporate a tarot reading. And I used to just pick up the cards and do readings for people. I had no idea how or why or whatever. I never questioned it. I'd sort of read the little tiny, it was a little tiny handbook that was in it, which I didn't really understand.
Like had 3 sentences for each card, you know?
I know, and it was very complicated. Like, forget the book. Who needs a book? And then I got this opportunity to go on a course to learn how to read the tarot. And I thought, and it had a certificate at the end. And in those days, to have a certificate to have achieved something, I'm like, I want one of these on my wall. It's not like now you can go for a weekend workshop and you get it, a certificate, and you put it up there. So I'm not dismissing certificates and things, but at that time, I want a certificate because I want to learn how to do it properly. And while I was on this course learning over the period of weeks, we got to a point where we were starting to do readings for people. Well, of course, I'd learned all that I had to do, but my psyche reverted right back to how I was doing it before.
Exactly.
And of course,
don't fix it.
And the instructor was going, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you could get that from this. This is what the, and I'm like, oh gosh, I can't even get this right. And then it was afterwards when the instructor had left and the person sitting opposite me said, you're actually spot on. So for me, I think that was the first time of realizing I don't need a certificate to show me that I can do this. I actually can do it. And I think that's something for a lot of people out there, that when you're questioning, I need this certification. If you've got it, you've got it. And you can learn all these different things, and it helps to boost you up, because what came out of that, and you were talking about synchronicity, is that I met other people of like mind, other people that were doing the kind of thing that I was doing. And as I say, before internet. So we created a little group. You would call it a psychic development group nowadays. We just called it we would have a weekly group. We would get together and somebody would read a book, or somebody would go on a workshop or attend whatever it was. And then we would tear down to each other. We would share what we'd experienced. And it was fun. And it was a beautiful synchronicity. And that's when, after a while, somebody had found out about the Arthur Findlay College of Metaphysics, as it was then known as, in Stansted, Essex, England, which several of us from the group attended. And for me, it was like, I'm home. I know now that there are people are like-minded. And it was sort of a bit like a rush. You didn't want to go to sleep at night. I said during the time that I spent there, I'm sure I probably only had a couple of hours sleep at night. I do remember the meditations at 6 a.m. that we would attend, and I think there was more snoring went on through the meditations, because we could actually...
I'm meditating. Yeah, really.
You just strap yourself to the chair, because we would just sit up all night, and those kind of conversations that they're not structured, they just happen when you're with groups of people and they're sharing something, and then it leads on to something else. And it is just such a amazing experience. And
we started doing psychic game night on here as an open line show, basically, where we do the Zender cards for the chat room, and we do readings, and I let callers come in, and if they want to do a reading for somebody, I let them do a reading. It's just like for people to be open, to have a place, because I mean, a lot of us are watching, a lot of people watching now, me doing the show, people in your everyday lives or everyday circles are like, that's weird. They don't want to talk about this stuff. That's why I do the show. So people have an open place to feel secure, to test those things out, to be open about it.
Well, I remember one of the funny things when we were experiencing psychometry, which is picking the information up off of an item. And so that particular evening in our group, we all brought in an item that we knew about, which was wrapped up or put in an envelope, and then we would pass it around and pick up the sort of sense from it. And I must admit that particular evening, I must have either been on the funny juice or whatever, no alcohol, but I mean, just as you can tell, I love to have fun. And I picked up this cylindrical item when it came to me, and when I moved it, I could hear the shifting inside, and I'm going, it's a maraca thing, it's like one of those little shaker things that you have for music. And of
Mhm.
course, I'm doing this with this item, and I'm picking up all these things and I'm writing it down. And at the end, I found out it was one of the girls, her father-in-law's ashes.
Oh my God, you're playing Morocco with somebody's ashes.
And of course, the funny thing about it was that really connected with me is he loved music. He was very rhythmic, and he also had a great sense of humor. Because I'm going, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm looking at this cylindrical thing after. It's like, I'm just so sorry. I don't mean to be disrespectful. But it was so beautiful because we all laughed. That's exactly what I was doing, because that's what this sound was. So for me, I conclude, Jamie.
I think once you've done that with somebody's ashes, you're good to read anybody. Who cares what you did? After you've done that, you're good to go.
I know. It was many, many years ago. I'm a little bit more. Mind you, if somebody hands me a cylindrical net, it will bring up that memory. But, sometimes you
Can
have...
I shake this?
Shaken and not stirred. But so that's what I'm saying. Sometimes when these things come about, we have to connect to it. And the fact that that's what I was connecting to, this musical thing. He was very musical. He played the piano. He loved music. He loved rhythm, and he had a great sense of humor. So, yeah, well, he got me to do the.
You see Linda's comment here. It got me rolling. Oh my God! Glad the lid didn't pop off.
But she did tell us, and this is the follow on from that. She was saying that they took the ashes a couple of weeks later, and they were all getting together, the family, and they were going to his favorite spot where they wanted to, he wanted the ashes to be released, kind of thing. And they were standing up, they did this ceremony, and everybody had like a handful of the ashes, and then they sort of like threw them in the wind. Well, the wind picked up and they all got covered with the ashes. And she said, obviously he wanted to come back with us as well.
I've never seen The Big Lebowski.
So I think it was the follow on from that, because she shared it, because she said, I just wanted to let you know his sense of humor was, that we're doing this very beautiful ceremony, very touching, a few tears and things. They let go into the wind, and then it all blows back onto them again. So I thought, yeah, well, he was having the last laugh, obviously.
All right, so I want to get in. We've been this Paranormal Soup. We talk. We talk amongst ourselves with our coffee, but I do want to get into your Oracle deck, because this is a beautiful deck.
Thank you.
So what went into making this? First off, we talked about tarot. I've had an interest in tarot. I think tarot is the Jungian like archetypes of life. I think there's hidden message, but that's the thing. I never really have ever followed a book on it. I just look at what is calling out to me in a picture.
Right.
Now, that's why I've had trouble. Like, what do I do with an Oracle deck? What is the difference between how do you use an Oracle deck?
The difference with an Oracle deck, unlike a tarot deck, which is very structured, as you will know, for anybody that's read tarot, that reads tarot cards, there is a certain protocol into how you read them. And there's major arcanas, and then there's minor, like I always say, like suits and honors in a deck of cards. Well, Oracle cards don't have suits and honors. Each card is a standalone card. So you don't have to be concerned about the structure. You can just pull a card, like I've just done now. And I don't know if you can see that. Shift it. It's a card. And so I would take that information and I'd go, okay, so this is the card I pulled today, and this is the card that came out. So I've got to shift maybe some ideals, some situations in my life, and move into that. So each card is read individually. It's more free flowing, and it's open, I feel, like tarot, but on more levels. So there's no strict rules. And so that's what I love about it. I think that's why it was more
the vibrational energy of it. Like you named it. What is vibrational energy, and how does this play into how it selects the cards, or how we're by just random shuffle getting a card that means something for us?
Yeah, well, the concept of sacred vibrational energy is it's like the communication of the ancients. So each vibration creates its own pattern. And Like every single thing in the universe is vibrating at a particular frequency. We as humans are. Trees,
Right.
animals, earth, even innate objects like tables and chairs, they all have their own frequency. And they connect or they don't connect. That's why if we just take human beings, for instance, you can be in a room with 20 human beings and all of a sudden you go, okay, I'm drawn to that particular person there. And no words are being spoken.
Or want to get away from a particular person more often.
Or you want to get away from a particular person. So that's what I'm saying. They're emitting that energy. They're radiating out. I always say it's like, think of it as radio waves. They're unseen and yet we know they exist. Because we move the dial, oh gosh, that shows how old I am. Then move the dial on the radio.
What's a dial, boomer?
A little dial, a little slidey thing. Okay. So when we tap into that particular frequency to listen to the radio station that we want to, that's what vibrational energy is. If that makes sense.
No, it does. So my I want to learn how to use it. So I got this deck here. I can just kind of put it on me here. Rob's got the actual picture of the deck up here. It's vibrational. How many decks? This isn't the only one though. You have like a few different ones.
This is my very first one, and I then created the Vibrational Earth Children deck, which was the children's deck, and that was
for children.
Sorry,
is it for children?
It is for children. It's for children
Really?
from 8 years upwards, younger. And people that are wanting to do some inner child work as well. So that's a really great one. They're very much, this particular deck, I'll try and not get the glare on it.
Yeah, it's hard.
This particular deck is very childlike in its responses. And it was requested by people that had kids that said, we want an easy deck for kids to use with everyday kind of experiences. So there's one in there called Chores Wars, and there's, being kind to people, speaking out or not speaking out or being quiet and things like that. So they're in everyday expectations as children would go through. And then the next deck after that was the I Am Vibrational Affirmation deck. So that was what I call the instant gratification deck. You could just shuffle the deck, pull out a card. Here's one from it.
The American deck.
Yeah, it's again, I'm probably, so it's I am, and then the affirmation is actually on the card. And then because I wanted people to get into that frequency of the I am and how important that is. Okay, we very much stepped away from who we are and what our journey is. And that is where the I am comes back into it. And it's very important. We're here for everybody else. We're here for ourselves predominantly.
It's like saying I am is like I am a good person, like kind of thing. Like
I am, and then each one of the affirmations will go on from that. So this one here, I am vibrationally in tune with the rhythm of being. So that's that particular card there. And so it's, as I say, the instant gratification. You could shuffle, pull a card and go. And then following on from that, because the I am part, everybody was getting into it, is the I am sacred. And there's a lot of sacred geometry in that particular deck. And in fact, that one is currently being made into a mobile app. The Vibrational Energy deck, this one, and the children's deck actually are available as mobile apps. So it's an app that'll change, kind of do the cards in the app. Yes, very much so. And so for people on the go and they don't want to carry their deck with them, I always carry all mine with me. But for people that just want to pull a card, they can do the big 11 card spread, or they can pull 3 cards, or they can pull 1 card. They can journal it and put it in there. And both of these decks, both of these mobile apps, if you go to my website, you can download a limited amount of the cards for free. So give yourself a Christmas gift of playing with them online, and then you can purchase if you want.
I love this one. I'm shuffling your deck right now, just sitting here shuffling as you talk, and 2 cards popped out on their own, fell out. If that means anything,
absolutely,
they just fell out. Okay, they just fell out of the shuffle. One's the triangle,
Oh, right. Okay.
One's a triangle. This one here. Okay.
Yeah.
So see that. But the other one I'm like, okay, maybe this means something. I don't know, because I love this card. I love to know the meaning of this. The F word. What it says, the F word.
When I was creating this deck, I have to say that I spoke when Spirit were saying to me, they gave me the titles first of all, and I wondered when I was getting to the fact that most Oracle decks, not all, but they're between 40 to 46, maybe 48 cards. So they're around.
This one's 52.
Number, and mine's 52. So I'm going, okay, is this going to be like a War and Peace kind of deck that people are going to have to carry a cart around because it's going to be so big? And the one of the last two cards was the F word and Life's a Beach. And of course, we know the other one, which is Life is a. We know that one. But anyway, so I thought they were having a cosmic joke with me. But when that one, the definition of the F word, it's basically changing things, shifting that from frustration, or maybe it is the actual F word, to the opposite of that. Like maybe it's we need freedom, or maybe we need to be more frugal. So if you can think of F words opposite.
Yeah, during Christmas. Jeez,
more fun.
Yeah, or more fun. Or fantastic.
That's what I'm hearing. What would the triangle mean with it?
Now, the triangle, I always interpret that as the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. Okay, so
that makes sense. The Trinity.
The Trinity, exactly. And the Trinity for me is that connection, how we connect. And that particular card, have you got it there? I'm just quickly trying to find it on mine, because the imagery on that is Heather Brewster was creating. It's like this, everything's in the triangle, but everything's also outside of the triangle. So our little world is inside of there. And how,
of course, all the green in it on my green screen's like making it look pretty supernatural right now, like it's moving.
And of course, there's all this cosmic stuff going on around it. So I love that. And I think that those two cards for you, when cards fly out, I always say to people, if you're shuffling a deck and they fly out, they're the cards. Stop shuffling. You don't need any more cards unless you're doing a larger spread. But if you're asking for an answer for something and cards fly out or drop to the floor, I have, when people come to me for a reading, I always give them the deck to shuffle and let them pull some cards. And sometimes people say, well, like 6 cards just dropped to the ground. I'm like, well, they're the 6 cards we're going to use. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm going.
These two cards dropped in my lap, so that's why I thought, well, maybe I should ask her, because they just popped out of the deck as I was shuffling.
That's one of the things when somebody is using the cards, because I always say there's really 3 steps to using a deck. The vibrational energy deck. First of all, you connect to the question. What are you wanting to know? And I always say this is where we don't just get in the car and drive somewhere and go, this is where I'm going on vacation. We stop and think about it. We think about where we're going, how we're going to get there, and all those kind of things. So again, this is exactly the same as when we're asking a question from Spirit.
My question is along that line. When I'm shuffling, thinking about you doing a reading for me, it's about, what does the future hold for Mr. Bland?
Yes. And so we're focusing on it. We're gently thinking about it. I always say to people, step into the intention. Absolutely. Be there, present, not being distracted by anything else. And then we connect to the deck. So you shuffle the cards. If they bounce out like they do for you.
These two did.
Then they're the cards. Shuffle away, get them. People say, okay, so how do I shuffle a deck of cards? However you want. True. Yeah. There are no rules of engagement. Some people say, I have to tap my deck, or I have to cut it into 4. That's what you want to do it.
I was just sitting here shuffling them. I got a pretty good control on them, and I'm like, how did they pop out? They just popped out. So I thought
it's almost like this is the card. This is the one. And then when you look at it, when you get the third part of it is, what is that card that you have chosen or has been chosen for you, giving you? Because there are no wrong choices with this. You always get the right cards. Never.
So the F word could be freedom, because I would like freedom.
Absolutely.
financial freedom.
Or you're thinking future, Jason.
Or future.
Absolutely. Exactly, Jamie, because they're the things that are in there. And for you, you are in the trinity of all these things. So for you, I would say things come in threes or are created in threes. So if you just take that step away from the trinity of anything for you, it's three as an association with it as well. And that's something to also think about. Maybe when you're doing things that there are 3 steps to it.
Okay.
Thinking
about that. All right.
So I always say when people get the cards that pops out is to look at it. What's the image telling you? What are the colors? What emotions do you feel?
Well, I think by the Trinity one, the first thing I focus on is that is the planet in the middle of it. Like, I don't know. That's drawn to that.
Yeah. And that could be that for you, it's, as I say, it's in that triangle. There is my world. It's protected. My life is protected by the 3.
Okay. A lot about my questions and what I've been thinking about lately has to do with my family and like protecting my family and for the future and future financial, security.
And there's future financial, all those things. And
the F word. Yeah. And it comes out as the actual F word when I think about those things sometimes. That's the thing.
And sometimes, I always say it's just a word. Unless it's actually said to somebody with intention of harming them, when the word comes out, it's just sometimes like, get it out.
Well, it comes out. Can't on this show, but it comes out, especially when I do think about my future and I stress out about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just saying everything's okay. Everything's in there. It's protected. Maybe you're overthinking things at the moment.
I was going to have you do like the full spread reading for me tonight on it, but then these 2 cards popped out. So I thought, well, it's significant probably that they popped out.
Absolutely.
Especially when I saw the F word.
Or your future's protected.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's in that. Your world is in there. And if you look at that card, even though it's right, I put it back down again, even though it may seem dark and unsure out there, if you look at, sorry, I'm just quickly trying to go through my deck. And of course, it's going to be here somewhere. I'm going from the back. I found the F word. Okay.
I still love that it's the F word.
I do as well. So if you look at this, everything's radiating outwards. And look at all the triangles within the triangles within the triangle. There's this cosmic, this sacred geometry around this particular card.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like the sacred geometry, like in Tibetan, like pictures.
Sometimes when we're so stressed out about what's going on or what's going to happen, all the rest of it, maybe it's just a case of, just sit there. Don't worry about it. It's all going to be taken care of. And I love all these little planets that are outside, these little white dots. These little white planets that are there. And nothing is dark and scary. If you look at it, it's almost like a nebulous in the center there.
But the future is dark and scary to me because I'm a worrywart.
Well,
it's like ingrained in me. Thanks, Mom.
Don't be a worrywart, okay?
I hear that all the time.
I wish many years ago somebody shared something with me, or I should say spirit shared something with me, and I thought it was very appropriate at the time because I was going through a difficult time in my life, and it's like, okay, I can see nothing but this little light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't want it to be the train coming at me.
Right.
So, and my life had been going through those cycles, and Spirit said, you know what? You're only focused on what's ahead of you. If we switch the light on in here and you saw what's going on around you, you wouldn't be so concerned about what you have to walk towards.
It makes sense. It's good advice. A worry that I am tries to.
Done that. Got the scars.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, so that could be like an indication that about some of the stuff I've been concerned about. Okay. All right. I get it. I kind of. So it's like I'm like looking at them. Like kind of as I'm doing this, I'm looking at the other cards and stuff in here. I mean, it's beautiful artwork. Now, who was it that did the artwork for this?
She's
Let's say it again.
Heather Brewster. She's out of Calgary in Alberta, and she's an amazing artist. And when I got to work with her, because again, the synchronicity of how the cards came together, because, you know, I self-published. So for me, it was like, okay, I've got the words, I've got the definitions, now I need the artist. And when I connected with Heather, after I'd connected with a couple of artists, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it here. Because Spirit kept on saying to me, when you find the right artist, they'll know exactly what to do for the imagery.
Right.
And when I first spoke to Heather, she said, well, what are your expectations? I said, I have none. I'm just being told when I connect with the right artist, they'll know exactly what to create. And she said, oh, okay. And she's a very spiritual lady. And so
I love the artwork.
Yeah.
I
And
was going to say that too.
the definitions to play with, because I said to her, well, just do a few drawings or something like that, and I'll know right away whether or not you're
So
the
you
person.
gave her some card names, and she did some drawings for him.
This was one of the first abundant blessings I gave her. And she just, when she sent me this as a pencil, I think she sent it to me as a graphic image. I was just blown away, because it just said everything to me. You can see there's, again, the sacred geometry within this.
Yeah, I see a lot of that in hers. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, she's just amazing.
You know, the one I'm drawn to is this time lapses one.
Oh, yes.
I think it was one of the first cards I saw when I first opened your deck when I first came here, was this time lapses card. And that one's a really cool one. I don't know, maybe it's because I love time travel and all that, but
time lapses is also, if you look at the image here, there are no hands on the clock. Time is man-made. We have a 24-hour day in which we strive to squeeze so much into it.
there's hands on mine.
There's hands, yeah, but they're very, very,
They're very faint.
very, very faint. I.e., if you, I can push this into the screen here, and you can just see it. They're on the 10 and the 2, but they're almost obliterated.
Right.
And when we go into meditation, or when we go into dream state, or what I call absent-minded state, I call it, when we just zone out, we get some of our greatest work in those moments.
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to do that with music. I honestly believe spirits give us songs, because stuff would come out of me. I would just be, how the heck? And it'd almost be pathetic. I look back at my old lyrics to songs, and then it'd be like, oh my God, that's like so pathetic. You know, like I was just predicting things of my future in my own songs, my lyrics I would make up. You know, I used to call it to my band members, because I just make up lyrics as we were jamming out, and they go, you know, what were you doing? I'm like, I call it speaking in tongues. That's because there's literally these things would come out of me. You know,
exactly. And not everybody has to have the same communication like I have through spirit. Spirit move through all of us all the time. We get the signs, we get the symbols, we get the indicators. And sometimes when we're blinkered, we don't see them.
we have foggles on.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was driving to do a workshop locally, and I got caught in traffic, and I thought, we don't have traffic here. This is weird. And then found out that there was a train crossing. Well, it was like forever, because it was one of those $1 million trains where they have all the trucks or whatever on it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be here a while. I always get where I'm going to in good time. And all of a sudden, I saw a vehicle in front of me that made me think of a friend in Australia. And then I looked over to my right, and then I saw a truck with a kangaroo on it. I'm like, okay, so I've got to connect with this friend in Australia. And I did. And I messaged her that evening when I got home, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about you today. How's things going?
You know, I have a common thing like that. I'll think I see somebody like in a passing car or something, but it wasn't them. But not long after that, I will actually see that person I thought I saw. It's like my brain was prepped to find them or see them.
Absolutely.
Weird experience. But I've had it so many times I can't even picture it. Now, one of the things I've always wondered about an oracle deck, particularly looking at yours for a medium who helped create this, is that, I heard like John Edwards and, other mediums talk about, seeing symbols in my head. Like they see, like, I see a red rose. This means this. Is that what kind of like the Oracle deck is trying to teach you, is like the communication of spirit through visual imagery?
Absolutely. When I created the deck, the big thing that Spirit was saying was keep it simple. And you'll notice that the booklet that comes with all of my decks has little amount of information in it. You're not bombarded with 3 or 4 pages that you've got to read and interpret and get confused over. The whole concept behind the deck is the book is there to help you, to guide you. That's why it's called a guidebook. But the rest of it is for you to intuitively connect to the deck. And that is something, when we intuitively connect to anything, we get more out of it. And that's not a cop out as far as I'm concerned, because when I was looking at it, I'm going, well, don't people need more information? And I basically got, and do you think you're the person that should be telling them?
They need to take their own meaning from the card, because it's trying to communicate through them,
Exactly.
Do you ever, when you're doing your reading, suddenly get a picture in your head of one of your oracle cards?
Yeah.
Like they just go right to that as a key to communicate? Because that's what it seems like. They have to have keys of communication with people. They can't just straight talk to you. They have to use the visual imagery in your brain.
Absolutely. When I'm doing, usually I give people the deck to play with, because some people have not been to a clairvoyant, so they're not quite sure what to expect. And because sometimes I look off into the abyss and I'm having this conversation with myself, sometimes I forget to keep it in my head and it comes outwardly, and I'm having this conversation. I said, but I'm not talking to you, I'm so sorry, I'm talking to this person in spirit. So I know it used to freak people out, so I give them the cards to shuffle and then to spread out, and I tell them ahead of time, if I do that and you're feeling a little bit unsure, just look at the cards, they're so pretty.
Just look at the cards. We got to go to commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines. You can call in tonight, get a reading from Debbie. Are you going to be using your oracle deck for your readings?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we get, and we got Debbie on video. So if you're watching, she can show you the cards she's pulling. You get a little more an idea of this deck. I think it's a beautiful deck, and I definitely want to get into trying to use something like this. I love tarot, but this is like another instrument, another tool I want to learn more about. So we'll talk more about that when we come back after this short commercial break.
Enter the occult world of necromancy.
You were brought here for one purpose: necromancy.
A ceremony dating back to the pre-Christian era is the art of reviving the dead. It requires involvement with evil spirits by the person performing the act.
The devil god brings life to the dead
No, please. No, please.
and death to the living. Necromancy, starring Orson Welles and Pamela Franklin. From Cinerama releasing. In color, rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and interfacediv.net.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering
the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
New from Mostly Healthy Foods. Orange Flare Orange Juice. Every glass has a ray of sunshine.
Wow! It has a ray of sunshine in every glass? Father, can I have some?
Sure, son. My God! My face is melting!
Every glass has a ray of sunshine! And yes, it's also a tasty beverage and a high-energy plasma. Sweet Mother of God, close the damn carton! Oh, how am I still alive inventing this horrible product?
My body is riddled with tumors and the energy to play.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday at the live stream with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, we have returning guest, Clairvoyant Medium Debbie Anderson. We're going to be taking your calls. I already got somebody on the phone, but all the lines are open. You can call in at 219-230-4444 or at 260-225-9419. There's also two Skype lines, Skype ID OOJBlandOO or JBland Paranormal Soup. Call in, and now if you we answer, you'll hear us talking and all that. Just wait till we call on you. Or if you call in and I hang up on you, it's because I got somebody already on that line. So just try calling back after you hear somebody get off. That hopefully we'll get you on. Last Sunday, the lines are blowing up. I know there's a ton of people that get in. Tonight, I got all four lines open. Get your holiday reading tonight. She's going to be using this Oracle deck that we've been talking about. It's a beautiful deck. The artwork is incredible in it, and you see a lot of sacred geometry in it. I really want to learn more about this and learn how to use it, because I've been getting to try to develop my own abilities again. We do that psychic game night. Maybe next time I will use this deck. So I'm kind of like learning tonight how she does it. And it's great to have her on video call here where we can see her and see the cards, so we kind of get to see how it works. But you can call in, do it, and have a specific a theme in mind. Somebody you want to communicate with or a question, have that in mind, because we only get about 4 minutes, 5 minutes for a reading. So get your focus on. Call out to your spirit guides. Do what you got to do, so we can she can get as much tuned into you as possible. But let's go ahead and get back to our guest. Speaking of that, Debbie, do you have any specific advice before people call in, or what they should be doing, or anything they should know before calling in?
No, I can't guarantee what's going to come through, and so we'll just take it. I'll shuffle the deck as the call is calling. So just ask us a question, and let's see where it takes us.
Now, I played a great, some people hate Seinfeld, like my wife. Some people love Seinfeld, like me. Airing of grievances. It reminds me. I have to ask you. You always see all these readings that family members, even if they had a lot of trouble with them, always come through and want to make amends and that. But do you ever get a family member that's like George Costanza's father? It's like, you angered me in some way, or somebody that comes through and really wants to get like you're doing this wrong, kind of airing of grievances from the other side.
I love when spirit think they're so well advised. Now they're in spirit, they're the experts. And sometimes they'll come back with, you're doing this wrong, or you need to do this, or something like that. And I always say to people, you don't have to listen to them, but this is what they're sharing with you.
So to everybody, since it's the holidays and you have like a great Aunt Deborah that really lectured you every Christmas, and then she's finally gone, well, welcome. She can come back for Christmas and lecture you some more from the other side, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's nothing like it. I can tell you, it can be quite funny. And with when spirit comes through, as they say, sometimes they can be just confirming things. Sometimes they can just want to share things, and sometimes they can be real bossy. I had a gentleman some years ago when I was doing a group reading at a home for somebody, and he came through and he was getting really frustrated with me, and in the end I just said to him, look buddy, this is who you get to work with tonight. If you don't want to do that, come back another night. And when I was sharing the message with the lady, she said, oh my gosh, that is exactly like him. He was always critical, always. And so we laughed about it afterwards, because obviously he came back in that same vein, that same frequency that she would recognize him. But like in Ghost, if they came through and said, I love you, and not said ditto, it didn't mean anything. So yeah, they'll come back in the way that we remember them.
We do have somebody on the line waiting here, and I swear to God, somebody was trying to call his house phone line. That number's not public. I don't know who's calling that, but my house phone line's ringing just now, late at night. I don't know why. We got an 860 area code. Who do we got?
This is Azariana. How is everybody tonight?
Hi, Azariana. Thanks for calling in.
Great. Nice to.
And hello to Debbie Anderson.
Hi there.
I'm watching you on YouTube.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. If you can do a reading for me, I really don't have a question, but just let me know what's going on, maybe.
General messages.
The right way.
Let's see what card comes out. I'm just
airing of grievances.
Oh, and there's a card. It jumped out. Okay. You have Wild and Free Wind Sprite. So here's what I have to say to you here. What I'm getting from Spirit is that people see you and they have pigeonholed you, hon. Okay? And you are not to be pigeonholed. There is a whole side of you that is you keep under wraps. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is time to unwrap that parcel, let it out, and be who you want to be. You keep on trying to fit into the pigeonhole. You're fitting into everything that everybody else is expecting of you. And now truly it's the time for you to shine. Okay, so whatever's going on, I do sense that there's some big changes coming up, but not until about March, April of next year. So whatever you're trying to put into motion at the moment, hon, if it's not moving or going the way you want it to go, just step back from it, leave it, and just see, let it unravel on its own, basically. Because sometimes we can push, we can shove, we can pull, we can try and get things going, and it doesn't happen because we're wanting it to. But come out of your shell, whatever you're hiding behind here. This is you at the moment. It's like, you really don't know me, people. You really don't know me. And I get the sense that it's about time you did this, stepped into your own. I'm a great one that I say to people, the I am, we're here for our journey, okay? here for your journey, not for anybody else.
Okay.
All right.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Good.
Yes,
And
it does.
whatever it is in March, April, it's going to be, I would say, like a dual-edged sword. And hopefully you understand what I mean. You're going to have to give up something to gain something.
Yes. I
Okay.
understand that.
So giving up the something, when we sit back and actually spend some time checking into that, you will realize that what you're giving up to get what you want is going to be worthwhile. Okay?
Okay.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you for calling in. Is there any
Thank you. You too. Thank you very much.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You too, sir. You too. You too.
All right, we already got somebody waiting on the other line. I want to make sure this line works. This line's got funky on me here. Hold on.
Oh, that's a good sign.
All right, this is another 860 area code. Who do we got?
Hey, Jason and Debbie, this is Adrienne.
Hey, Adrienne. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Adrienne.
Hi. I have an unusual question. This has to do with spirit, and I don't know if you can pull anything out of the cards for this one.
Oh,
I have a African gray parrot that loves to sit in a tree. It's a special tree for parrots in my living room, and he is seeing a spirit in there. I know he is because he's talking to it. Can you somehow identify in some way what spirit this is?
Okay, this spirit is a gentleman, is what I'm hearing, because the gentleman's just come right through. I pulled up Quiet Times, which is a card that actually jumped out here. So you have the ability to connect spiritually. Okay, I'm not telling you something you don't already know, is what this gentleman's saying. And he's saying he's tried to communicate with you so many times, but whether you're a little bit scared or whether you go, oh, it's just my imagination. It's not your imagination.
You're spot on. You are totally.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Okay. And he says, I've come back with love. I've not come back to scare you. And he said, the only person I can speak to is a bloody parrot. Sorry. Okay. That was him, not me. Okay. I don't swear to clients, I promise. But he used the B word. I won't use it again. But he said, this parrot sees me and I end up having a conversation with the parrot. He said, I want to have the conversation with you. So here's why Quiet Times has come in. This is for you to sit and meditate. If you want to connect with this gentleman, which I know you do, and I'm telling you, if you don't do it soon, he's going to up the stakes. That's what he just said to me. I'm going to up the stakes. So I don't think you're going to have rattling windows or things like that, but I get the sense.
I don't know. That's what it sounds like.
Like up the stakes. If you won't
riot.
So,
well, I'm going to pay more attention. I'll be working on that. Thank you so much.
So here's an easy thing you can do, and this is for anybody listening that wants to try and do this. Just before you go to bed at night, switch off your phones, your pinging, your tinging, and all the rest of it. Take a picture of the person that you're trying to connect with, or say their name. And then have a conversation with them as if they were sitting in front of you. Ask them something if you want direction on something, or, what can I do? How can I, whatever it is. And then allow yourself to drift off to sleep. During sleep state, what happens is the information starts to come through. And then this is why I say to everybody in the morning, you should have a journal or a notepad or something by your bed to write down, because as soon as we get up, sometimes we forget. Okay, so write it down.
Oh, like that one spirit told you to do.
Yeah, well, I'm getting the sense this gentleman is very much, there's a love connection there. And this gentleman didn't always communicate well when he was alive. Okay, so this may be why you're having the difficulty and he's having the difficulty.
Okay. Yeah, very true. Yes, ma'am.
But he's also saying this Christmas, Oh. Don't spend so much. Oh my goodness.
I don't spend a penny.
He said, well, he's saying you've been spending money on other people.
I used to a lot, and I
Okay.
just can't anymore.
Right.
But yep,
Good for you.
so true. Yeah.
Yep. Don't spend a penny. Like it's almost like don't waste your money. And he didn't like wasting money, I have to say. He was a bit frugal.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Okay. He was frugal. So he's passing that on to you. And as I say to people, give love. That's the biggest gift you can give anybody, and it doesn't cost you a bean. Smile at somebody, open a door, give up your seed.
Or air your grievances with them. Festivus.
Yes. Share. In love.
Well, I will certainly take your advice to heart. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to y'all. Bye-bye.
Have a Merry Christmas, Ariana. Yeah, you know, like I said, you have to wonder. You know, some spirits are, you know, they were kind of jerks in life, might be a little bit jerky in real, and the other side still doesn't change anything. You know, like they aired their grievances with you when they were alive. They're might do it again when they come back through. So just be prepared, people. You call in, you might get some grievances from the other side. And Becky still has a problem about how you talked that one Christmas, or I don't know.
I have no control over what comes through, and as I say, the B word came out. And I didn't mean it to come out, but it just...
What bloody? Oh, I love when British people think bloody. Ooh, ooh, oh. Like, your swearing just sounds like such poetry to us Americans. It really does.
Some years ago, I had a client who was sitting opposite me, and I was doing the reading for them. And the person came through, and the F word was literally every single word was...
Oh, yeah, I think they get cussed a lot on the other side, too, right?
And
you ever seen the show The Good Place? They can't every time they swear it turns it into a different word because it's supposed to be heaven.
Well, this person they kept on using, and I kept on stopping, and I'm going, I've got to find another word. And she said, I think I know who this is in spirit. And I said, well, he's swearing up a storm, and the F word is like F this, F that, all the way through. And then we connected with who it was in spirit. But what was so beautiful about that, but also funny in the same way, is when the reading had finished, when he left, he threw her the finger.
That's wow. That had been a character in life.
Yeah.
So here's you, Debbie, giving them the finger.
Because I said to her, because she said, tell him I love him, and he literally threw her the finger, and she just burst into tears, and she said, and here's the thing, I would always say before he left, I love you, and it was her brother, I love you, and he'd always say like this to her, literally do that to her. So that was a really term of endearment for her, for him to do that. It was proof for her how much he actually loved her, and that's why she said she started to cry, because it meant so much to her. Whereas if he just said I love you and all the rest of it, she would think, yeah.
We got to get back to the phone lines because they are blowing up. I had a couple of people trying to call in on the one line now. The lines open right now are the 260-225-9419 or the Skype ID J Bland Paranormal Soup. You can call in on those lines. Those two lines are open. But we do have somebody at 661 area code. Who do we got?
This is Chandra.
Hi, Chandra. Thanks for calling in.
Hi,
Merry
Chandra.
Christmas.
Hi, Jason. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kwanzaa too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a particular question in mind for Debbie tonight, or just a general reading? What are you looking for, Chandra?
Just a general. I have faith in spirit to give me what I need.
Okay. Well, while I'm shuffling, while I'm waiting for the call to come through, and I'm telling you the cards are flying out tonight, and this is breathe deeply. So I get the sense that spirit is just reminding you here that there are things going on around you that you have no control over at the moment, and you worrying about them or getting all worked up about them is not going to change anything. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but they're wanting you to just take a breath, Let it all slide over you. Don't get caught up in the drama, because whatever's going on with you at the moment, hon, it's like you need to be heart-centered. You need to be not allowing others to push your buttons. Please. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, my temper's been a little short lately.
Yeah. So
it is the holidays.
Everything.
It's the holidays and it gets stressful.
Well, you know what? I'm not really doing the holidays this year, though.
Oh, good.
So, I stepped away from that because it would be too much. It would be too much stress, and I just decided, you know what? I'm not doing it this year. It's just everything else, and so I didn't need that added stressor of holidays.
I have a lady in spirit I want to share with you, and she's saying, look after yourself. And this lady in spirit, she's on mum's side of the family. And she's saying, please look after yourself. Okay? So I don't know if this is physical heart problems or emotional heart problems that are happening at the moment. But this year, so many people I know have been having heart-related problems. So please step out, let it all flow over you. Like, don't let it stick to you, hon. Okay? Because she wants you to know she's looking out for you. All right. She said, I'm looking out for you.
It's probably my mom.
Your mom.
Yeah. And I know this lady, and you know, when we were talking earlier on, and sometimes they tell us things that they wouldn't have done themselves.
Yeah.
Your mum was a worrywart too. Okay, but she's telling you not to worry about things. Okay, so I love it when they're the other side. They all of a sudden become this absolute expert. What is it? The pot calling the kettle black. Okay, but she does have concern.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So take care of yourself.
Yes.
Take a breath in, exhale it out. All right. Step into your heart, hon.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. And don't worry about the things. Like, you know, what is it? Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. Truly it is. And she keeps on talking about somebody coming back to you. So I don't know if there's somebody that's left, but she said they're coming back to you. Okay?
You're like the second person that's told me that.
Wow.
Okay, that's interesting.
All right. Well, I hope it means something to you, because she said they're coming back to you. And of course, that doesn't mean to say we have to accept them coming back, but I get the sense.
Yeah, it could be a warning. They're coming back.
Exactly.
That could be a warning.
Oh, Jason, I love you. I swear.
That's what I was thinking. Is that a warning?
Well, sometimes it can be a warning. Sometimes it's just you don't have to have them back. Okay. But I do get the sense it's like it's coming back a cycle. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank
Merry
you for
Christmas.
calling in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Chandra.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye. All right, we got somebody else on the other line at 508 area code. Who do we got?
Hi, this is Bob.
Hey, Bob. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, thanks for taking my call. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah,
I was
Merry
just
Christmas.
wondering if I could get a reading.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Bob?
No, well, see, my mother comes to us all the time in all kinds of different ways. And then our son-in-law went to a group meeting, and the person that was given the meeting said, there's somebody here that, and she got what he wanted, but then she said, and there's somebody else that his mother keeps on coming to him, but he knows that it's her, and she just wants to say, I'm with you all the time. That flipped me out. It flipped him out, and I'm just wondering if there's anything else I could get from her.
Okay. All right. So the card that jumped out is refuge. Okay. And I always look at this card and go, you're either walking away from something or walking to it. And at the moment, it's almost like you're in stasis. You don't know what to do, as in, shall I move forward? Shall I stay still? I'm not sure. And I'm getting the sense from spirit, they're just saying, if you need to just stand there a little bit longer, it doesn't matter. There is no rush. So I'm getting the sense at the moment with whatever's going around you, that you don't need to rush anything. Okay. You need some healing. Okay. And the healing is, can be a combination of what I call, we need to let go of stuff, create new paradigms. Maybe we actually have to do some physical healing. But whatever's going on with your breathing at the moment is not getting better, and it does need to be addressed. Okay, so whatever's going on in this chest area here, okay, you need to get that dealt with. Okay.
Okay.
The lady in spirit, she had issues in that area, correct?
Yes, she did, yeah.
Okay, and she's saying, I don't want you to go down the same road I went down.
Okay.
All right, so
makes sense.
Sorry. So please look after that. She's also saying to you about the night thing. There's something to do with the night thing with you. Okay. You hear her calling you in the night. She calls you in the night. It's all right. Sorry, I'm trying. The way she's doing it is like she's shouting at me. I tried to tell him in the night. And this lady was very much, when she was alive, I don't think she would have been into any of this kind of stuff. But she's very protective of you. Okay, very protective of you. Okay, and she still sees you as her little boy. And I know you're a grown man now, okay, but she still sees you as her little boy. So she tries to communicate with you at nighttime. And I mean, you know, if you were listening to the show earlier, the 3 a.m. jobby. Okay, so if you get that sense that you're waking up at that time, sit or lay on the bed for a moment and just listen. Okay, because I do get the sense she's trying to communicate with you.
That's true, and I have not had her come to me in that way, but she comes to me in other ways that I notice all the time.
Okay, but it feels like you're not listening to her. And please don't take this the wrong way.
I didn't listen to her.
When she was alive, okay.
Kid. Why should I start now? Yeah.
I get the sense that she would have been a little bit of a drum banging lady. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to do it this way.
No,
why are you not doing it this way?
Not her.
Well, I get the sense that that's what she's...
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah.
I get the sense at the moment she's trying to do it in that way.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Totally understand.
Okay. But look after whatever's going on at the moment to do with your chest. Breathing thing.
Yeah, you too. You also. You're coughing up a storm over there.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of talking. See.
Well, get a glass of water and take care of yourself and have a Merry Christmas.
I will. Merry Christmas to you too, hon.
Thank you, Bob. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Well, you know, I wondered, one of the things when I hear you cough, and I've heard other mediums do it, I've had some experiences where I had spirit, I think, come through me, and it causes like this little tickle in my throat.
Yeah.
Like
and
a frog in my
sometimes
throat.
It can, yeah. I get this sort of, especially if it's somebody that's had chest or throat-related problems, it can sometimes manifest within me. And also, we've been talking, so I need to lubricate.
That doesn't sound good.
And there's my water.
That's the water she's talking about. All right, we got Zach on the line. How you doing tonight, Zach? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you too, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, Zach. Did you have a question?
Hey, Debbie. Good to see you again. Yes, I do have one question, and it is in regards to my business. And while I can't go into specifics about it right now at the moment, It has something to do with a potential investor.
Okay.
So my question is, should we take the deal or should we wait for a better deal to come along?
Okay, so the card that came out for you is Musical Joy. Okay, so this is about being in the bliss. Do you understand what I mean by being in the bliss?
She looks like she's having a good time in the picture.
Yes,
If you can't see that.
So absorbed with it. It resonates with her. And I'm getting the sense with this business deal, if it's resonating with you and you feel like you're going to be in the bliss with it, then move forward with it. But if you're starting to have doubt, okay, I have a gentleman in spirit. He's on dad's side of the family. He was very not so much frugal with money, but careful with money. He's saying something about with this investment, with what you're wanting to move forward with, if it's going to take too much time or too much money, then make sure that the other party is bringing to the table the same amount. I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense on that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't go into it right now because it's all in the tentative stage right now. But
he wouldn't have himself, this gentleman, he was on dad's side of the family, so I'm not sure if this is a grandfather, father, or an uncle, or on dad's side of the family, but he would not have thrown his money around. Everything he had to work very hard for. And he's saying everything you've had to work hard for. So with this, if it's not going to bring you the joy and the bliss, then step away from it or step towards almost like negotiations or making sure everybody brings to the table the same amount. This new venture, I just have to say, does it take you out of, okay, I don't know if it's out of country or out of where you live?
no, it doesn't.
Okay, then I don't know what he's talking, because he's saying something about if this takes you away from everything, then don't do it. I'm not getting a sense of not doing it, but he has a cautionary note there. Just make sure everybody's bringing the same thing to the table. But I get this when he said it's like something being taken away, or don't let it take something away. And I got the sense it was like out of town or out of country or something like that. So if it was a business that was having to set up in another country for it to happen, then it may not work for you. Okay?
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely be on the cautious side of that. But yeah, definitely if this does go through, then yeah, I'll definitely be in bliss for sure about that. So definitely.
Make sure it's
Debbie,
what
thank you so much for your agreement.
Well, thank you, Zach, for calling in, man. You have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Zach. And I hope this comes through and works out for you.
I hope you feel the bliss that girl does in that picture, because
it's almost like being in the Zen. You know, sometimes when we hear a piece of music and it just absorbs into us and it takes us away. That's what I always feel with this. It's almost like be there, enjoy it. Don't make it hard work.
All right, Zach. Well, I hope that the 2020 brings you a good deal.
I hope so too, brother.
All right, man.
Jason, Rob, Jamie, Debbie, have a Merry Christmas, all right?
All right, man. Merry Christmas,
You too,
Zach.
buddy.
All right. I'm going to try to fit in one more here, I think, before the commercial break. Oh, we got time. We might get two more in. We got 503 area code. Who do we got?
Hi there.
And what's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Marianne, and I'm from Oregon.
Marianne from Oregon. Thank you for calling in, and Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you, too.
So do you have a question, Han?
I don't really have a question. I just love the way that you are presenting yourself, and I just love it. I just spent a month in the UK, and I love the UK. And at any rate, I just love the way that you're presenting. So I just thought maybe that there might be something there for me.
Okay. Well, I was shuffling away while you were talking, and the card that came out was Hopeless Release. And I get the sense that this year for you has been a lot of letting go, of clearing things. And you know what? You're at that stage, hun, where it's like, okay, what's gone out is coming back because you've trusted in it. Okay. And when we trust in something, you know, I always say to people, I can't give you a piece of paper with the word trust on it and say, here we are, insert where necessary, because it's something that has to be within us. And I get the sense that this year has, when it started off, especially about March time this year, that's 2019, it was a really rough patch for you. It's like, okay, you know, give it up to God or whatever you had to do. And you followed through with it. And now every time something happens, it's like, you know what, I've been here, I know this. Just let it go. You know, sometimes we have to let things flow over us rather than us to be the barrier that fights it all the way. And you, I will say, the lady in spirit that's coming through for you, she's...
Oh, good.
She says, I want to wrap you up in a blanket. I want to wrap you up in a blanket and just say, it's okay. Next year's going to be much better for you. And she said, because it is, and when I shake the blanket out, all that you've had to let go will come back to you, but in the way that you want it, not in the way you have to let
that's
it go.
awesome.
And she's also...
That's awesome. Is the woman my mother? Is the woman my mother?
She's saying, yes.
Lavon?
Sorry, what's her name?
Lavon.
Okay.
Lavon.
I have to say, I'll try and describe this lady. She's a very effervescent lady. Do you understand what I mean by effervescent? If she was alive and she walked into the room, it was almost like, ta-da, I'm here. She was that lady. You knew her presence was there. She's talking about a little one that is around you that brings you laughter.
Oh.
And she said,
I have a lot of grandchildren.
Okay. Now this little one, I will say, is a little girl, and she sees spirit.
She's in spirit?
She sees spirit.
Oh, she sees spirit. Oh, she's talking about Sophia.
Because she said, I sit and I have many conversations with this child. And she said, and she listens to me. She said, I wish the others
That's
would.
her great-grandchild. That's her great-granddaughter. And her name is Sophia.
Okay, because she said, this little one just is like the light in everybody's lives. And when...
Yes.
Okay. Your mom, when she was alive, there was something to do with... I don't know if it's matches or she's showing me it looks like matchsticks, but I don't think they're matchsticks.
Matchsticks.
I don't know if they're matchsticks. They're like little sticks. Maybe they're not sticks. Okay, let me bear
a lot
with
of sewing. She did a lot of quilting. She did.
Maybe they're needles then, because it's like it's almost like I see them all lined up in a row. So she would have kept things very neat. Keep things neat.
I think that would be, I don't know, she did a lot of quilting and she did a lot of sewing.
Okay. All right. So it's
a lot of pictures. She was a genealogist in our family.
Okay, so it's like I get everything being kept neat and tidy in a row, being sorted, something being sorted, something being kept in a row, something that you're, okay. When she's, sorry, hon, she's trying to describe this and she keeps on showing me these, and it looks like needles or matchsticks. When I look at them, they look like matchsticks because they're all everything. Okay, having everything in a row, having everything set up, she loved to plan, everything structured, sorted. Structured, sorted.
Yeah.
But she
likes to plan things out.
But she's talking about you, something at the moment you're trying to structure and sort. And she's
nothing
saying,
in court for me.
No, structure and sort, not court.
Sorry.
Oh, structure and sort. Okay.
You've been trying to structure things and sort things out. And it's like, it's not happening. And she's saying, don't worry about it. It's all going to fall into place. She keeps on talking about, she sends you messages.
Okay. I'm wondering about that. I was wondering about that.
You've
been giving me messages.
She shows me standing and there's, okay. She's taking me to your home. I'm assuming it's your home. And I'm not literally, I'm not stalking you or anything like that, hon. But she's taking me to this room where you look out of the window and there's trees or something in front of it, showing trees.
Yes.
Saying, when you stand there, you see things. Okay, you see things in the trees, you think.
Yes.
And she said, that's the messages I'm sending you.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So
she has a rose bush. She has a rose bush that we planted that's from her house. It's in my yard. Okay. And I always look at that rose bush and I think of her when I'm looking at the rose bush.
Well, she says, I put things in there. I thought it was a tree. It looked like a tree, but I suppose it could be a rose bush. But she says, I put things in there for you. And I don't mean literally. I think she creates little images.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
so
I'll look closer.
Yeah. Oh, she's also talking about it not being pruned properly.
Oh. Okay. Well,
Gotta
the rose bush is kind of. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, Mom.
What I used to always say to people with the three Ds, dead, decapitated, or something else that there used to be with roses, but I get the sense she was a bit of a perfectionist with the garden. So maybe
she loved her garden. She loved her garden. Yes, she did.
So next spring, maybe when you're out there pruning, ask her how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, okay.
Because
I will, for sure.
She was a perfectionist. And she's saying, actually, you are as well.
Yes, I am. I'm a cake decorator.
Ah, okay.
I have my own business and I'm a cake decorator and I am a perfectionist in that regard. Yes.
She's saying you give more than you get back at the moment.
Oh.
And she's saying you will get back. August next year. She keeps on talking about August next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
there's
going to come back.
Well, I get the sense that there's something coming back to you. You're receiving something in August.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be looking forward to that.
Because please let me know, because she said it's coming back to you. So I get the sense that it's something you've either had to given up or walked away from, and you're going to get the rewards from it. You've also, with your business, talking about that you have somebody that you're working with at the moment. and it's growing.
As a customer or what?
No, I get the
I just work with myself. Myself, and I run the business.
Okay, well then maybe that's what it is in August, this expansion or something. Like I get the sense of somebody else working with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a girlfriend, Vicky, who's been helping me lately. I had some classes, and she's been helping me with my classes.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what she's talking about.
And I get the sense it's August. So it's almost like this thing all coming back to you and you working with somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be good because I do, sometimes I really do need the help.
Yeah.
It's feast or famine, you know. Sometimes it's really a lot and sometimes it's not. You what?
You're going to sell more cakes and make more money. And then you're going to have this other person here.
Oh, awesome. That's great. I'm excited.
Merry Christmas to you.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it. And bye, Mom. I love you so much.
She says
Thank you, Marianne. You have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Okay. Thanks, Jason. Merry Christmas.
Bye, Marianne.
Okay. Night.
So it seems like you get a card and it kind of takes you in a direction, but then you just go off to whatever messages are coming through.
Absolutely. The cards, like anything else, are just a tool.
Yeah, they kind of just lead you, but you kind of just, like I said, go off. Like I said, I asked before too. Sometimes you're seeing stuff in your head. You see your own cards. You're not even picking them out of the deck, but they're showing you an image of the card or something to give you a direction or an image. Yeah. It's a way of communicating. Let the audience know the phone lines are open, 219-230-4444, or you can call in at 260-225-9419. There are 2 Skype IDs, OOJBlandOO or JBland Paranormal Soup. Those are the ways to call in. We got about 45 more minutes. We're going to have another commercial break coming up, but you can call in, get a reading from Debbie. Now, while we're waiting to see if anybody calls in, Rob, Jamie, do you want to know anything for 2020? I have to ask. I got my panel here. Rob, you're muted.
I'll
there you
absolutely take a reading.
Okay.
What do you got in store for Rob?
Release. Okay. You, my dear, Spirit is saying that I would say the last 2 to 3 years for you. I'm going to be careful here because you guys work on the show and I don't want to okay, they're going to let me know here. Last 2 to 3 years for you, you've been doing a lot of inner work for yourself. And you have, I would say, let go of a lot of crapola that's been given to you. And I mean given to you by what others have said that you should or shouldn't be doing. And from that, you've also said, okay, now I'm going to put on my big boy pants and this is what I'm going to do. And whether you like it or not, too bad, so sad, get over it. All right. So you've had to have some losses to do with that, but you're also going to get some gains from it. Okay, and the gains here are going to be, you're not going to get us some water. So thank you very much. I got some here. I'm just.
You're in, Rob. Take a drink.
The losses from it, the gains from it. Okay, I've got a gentleman in the spirit. He's on your mum's side of the family. Okay, so this is a grandfather connection to you, and he would have been very much what I call the old school, old boys, that kind of thing that, this is the way we did it. And this is always, and it was always like that. And he's actually saying to you, well done for you stepping away from things. Okay. Because I get the sense, not necessarily small town, but small-minded people. Okay. And that sometimes can be a real struggle. Okay. So you've really stepped into the realms where others are watching where you're going. Also next year for you, I'm not sure whether you're in the process of writing a book or there's something there to do with the book for you. All right. So don't dismiss it. Okay. Don't say it's not possible, or why me? I did all that. And I'll tell you, you don't get away with it from spirit. They just make you do it anyway. All right. You can try and they go, no, you're going to do it. All right. But the release work here is part of that.
Okay.
So it's almost like the book is going to come because of this. All right. And whomever it is that you keep sensing is around you, they are.
Okay.
Because I keep hearing from spirit, apart from doing the spam head, you know, the spam head when we do that to you, I get the sense that the person that is connecting with you in spirit has got a great sense of humor. So if you don't acknowledge them, they're going to have fun at your expense. Okay. And I mean that in a nice way, but I mean it in a funny way as well, because I get the sense that they are very much, they would have been a bit of a goofball when they were alive.
Okay.
And they did not sit still. And that's something you have sometimes difficulty with.
Yep.
All right. So as you move into 2020, don't panic if the first part of the year doesn't seem to be all falling into place.
Okay.
As I always say to people, you know, that first little part, maybe we just have to readjust, realign ourselves. And that's what you need to do. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, sweetie. Thank you. I'm going to quickly mute myself while I have a quick cough.
You got to get a quick cough. How about you, Jamie?
Yeah, I actually
2020?
All right. I'm loving this because
I thought
You got 5 minutes before commercial break, so that's what you got.
Okay, come on, quick. All right, let me just see which card comes out here because I'm going to give him a good shuffle.
it almost started sounding like the release was being read for me at first, and then
well, that card actually came out when I first shuffled, and I'm like, I obviously haven't shuffled enough. But then I got clean sweep for you. This has been a year for you, literally taking out your closet.
Oh, geez.
And getting rid of stuff. And whether that is in a physical way, a metaphorical way, or a person way.
All the above.
To the person way. And you have literally had to, everything's now empty, clean and shiny and ready for what's going to be refilling it. You also, hun, your psychic abilities has really bumped up this year. And you're not fully stepping into that. If you don't step into it, you will be shoved into it. Okay, you've got to trust what comes out of here. Like sometimes when I'm trying to explain something because of all the stuff that's coming through up in spirit, trying to communicate it, sometimes we have to create the filters and then put it out there. But you need to get it more out of here, because what you're finding is you want to say something and then you don't say it, and then it's almost like the person says it. It's like, that's what I was getting from spirit. Okay, so you've got to trust it. Trust, trust, trust. Piece of card, trust, insert where necessary. So very much so with that. Also, the change that's going on with you since you've had your clean sweep will also mean that you want to step into other things as well. Very much next year is going to be your exploratory year. Just, I'm going to go this direction. Okay, it's not working for me. I'm going to go this direction. Yeah, I'm not liking that. So you're not going to have one direction. Okay, so don't, if people think you're being flippant or not focused, just say, get over yourself, because you are really needing to do that for yourself. And give yourself a big pat on the back, please. from Spirit, this is, for what you've actually achieved this year. Because cleaning out thing, cracky, even if I just do it with my physical closet, I'm not very good at it. I have more that wants to go back in there, even though I'm never going to fit into it again. I have this attachment or this disbelief that why can't I fit into it in a physical way? So I have difficulty. So the fact that you've done this, cleaned it out, and I'm telling you, you were very hard on yourself with some things. That's why I want you to just give yourself the pat on the back from Spirit here, okay? Because by doing this, I'm telling you, this next year will be the exploratory year for you. But you've got to trust when you get it, to say it.
She gets feelings about me. She'll be right on. She'll be like, I feel like something's wrong, Jason, blah, blah, blah. She'll send me a message and be like, oh, damn it, Jamie. She's got good intuition. And you should give yourself you've earned it, Jamie. You should give yourself a pat on the back too.
Yeah, you should. You've had a very it's been a very hard year for you this year. It's what I'm hearing from Spirit, a hard year. And the fact that you've got rid of the crap and the people that were crap around you, you've done very well. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got to go to commercial break. You can still call in 219-230-44. Phone lines are open. Come on, guys. This is the last chance to get a call of Debbie. We might not have her back on until next year because I'm getting booked. 2020 is getting booked for Paranormal Soup. We're already into March, I think, or May. I don't know. We're getting booked into 2020. This might be your last chance to get a reading from Debbie for a while. So make sure you call in 219-230-4444, 260-225-9419. Skype IDs JBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. Call in. We'll take your calls. We got like a half an hour left to get some readings in, so call in. All right, guys, we'll be back after this short commercial break.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
Again, this is the USS Montana requesting that you immediately divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid a collision. Over.
Please divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid collision.
This is Captain Hancock. You will divert your course. Over.
Negative, Captain. I'm not moving anything. Change your course. Over.
So, this is the USS Montana, the second largest vessel in the North Atlantic Fleet. You will change course 15 degrees north, or I will be forced to take measures to ensure the safety of this ship. Over.
This is the lighthouse, mate. It's your call. Hello, Captain. I think he's gone. Fair enough.
For every Earthling who's ever dreamed of adventures beyond the stars comes the astonishing story of one who made it, Alex Rogan.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Sur and the Kodan Armada.
Of all the life forms in all the galaxies, one has been chosen to be the last Starfighter. The Last Starfighter, with the film of the #1 hit Do They Know It's Christmas, the official Band-Aid story. In the West End and across London now, rated PG.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
Tired of school?
Who was Joan of Arc?
Noah's wife? Like to travel?
Let's go back into history. Let's reach out and touch someone.
Want to meet people in the past?
Put them in the Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden? Excellent! Execute them. Bogus.
Then hitch a ride with George Carlin, Keanu Reeves, and Alex Winter in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from Orion Pictures.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do voices from beyond the cold case files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
No, I want an official red under carbonation 200 jet rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is a Clairvoyant Medium Debbie Anderson. We talk about her oracle deck that she's been using tonight to do readings. And I mean, the first time we ever had Debbie on, she blew us away with how great her readings were. And tonight, it's doing it again. She's really hitting it on the head with people. She hit it on the head with me with just the two cards that popped out of the deck, that beautiful deck that I have of hers. This is a Vibrational Energy Oracle deck. And we'll talk a little bit more about this tonight, but we are taking calls. I got somebody waiting on the line right now. The phone lines are open if you want to call in for a reading. It's 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or Skype IDs OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. Call in. You'll hear us talking. Just wait till they call on you, and then you have a question in mind or a general thing you want, an idea what you want for a reading from Debbie, or just see if there's any messages for you. If I hang up on you, just try calling back, because I've had to hang up on people. Just keep trying until we get you on. But let's go ahead and get back to our guest. All right, and speaking of that, we do have somebody waiting on the phone line. We got 386 area code. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, Jason. Merry Christmas. This is Debbie in Florida. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, Debbie. Merry Christmas to you. I wish I could spend Christmas in Florida.
Come on down. I got a spare room now.
Oh, I will in April. I will be coming down to Florida.
Well, I hope that we get to hang out with you while you're here, Rob. I mean, Rob
Well,
and I
Rob,
will get to hang out with you, Jason.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm hoping we do get to meet up, because I've had Jamie and Rob. I've never met them in person. One day I'll get out to California and meet Jamie too. But it'd be awesome to be able to finally meet Rob while we're out there too. All right. So you interested in a reading tonight, Debbie?
Yes, I am. I would love to know like what's in store for me coming up in 2020 and anything that comes through for me.
Let's see. Well, the card that jumped out was Fairy Ring. So I get the sense for you, it's going to be a bit more freedom, a little bit of what you want to do rather than what everybody else has told you have to do. And what I love about this card here is the playfulness of it. This little child here that's just dancing away and everything is just connecting. And I get the sense of you, this is something that you've wanted to do. And it's like, there's always restrictions there. There's always barriers. There's always something that has to be done. And I'm getting the sense that in 2020, especially around about June, July time, you're going to have a lot more time on your hands to be able to play. So I always think with the fairy ring, it's like, be like a child. Don't restrict yourself, jump in the puddles, play. I always say to people, if you go and spend time, and not in a creepy way, but in a child's playground, watching children play, they just get on with it. They don't have that feel that we do. Is I can't do this, I can't go to this group, or I can't go and join this, or maybe I'm too old for this, or whatever. They just get on and do it. So I get the sense that this is you going into next year. I have a gentleman in spirit. He is on your... Oh, okay. I think he's on Mum's side of the family.
Okay.
And the reason I'm not sure if he's on Mum's side of the family is because when I say to spirit, which side of the family you're on, I like to, they usually do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So if I say Mum's side of the family and they do thumbs down, then I go, okay, it's Dad's side of the family, thumbs up. Well, he went like this. It's almost like the two thumbs going together. So I get the sense that the side of the family he was on maybe isn't important here.
Okay.
All right. Okay. This is, it's almost like he's confusing me when he's trying to, so what side of the family? Mum's side, Dad's side. Mum's side, Dad's side. He's going, it doesn't matter what side, I'm on both sides. So I get the sense that either there was a combination of families that came together and he was part of that.
Okay. I think that might be my great uncle who married my mom's aunt, and he helped to raise me.
Okay, because
so he wasn't blood to me, but he helped to raise me, so he was like a second father to me.
Okay, all right. So that would make, because he's going like this, thumbs up. I've got two thumbs up now. And he was a very quiet man, not somebody that would be loud and brash and noisy or anything like that. I get the sense when he did anything, it would be in a quiet kind of way. He's also saying that Mum would have been, and please don't take this the wrong way, the mouthpiece. She would have been the talker. She would have been the person that did all the talking kind of thing. He would just sit in the background, okay? And he said, it's not that I didn't have anything to say, because if I did, and I felt it necessary, I would say it. But he said she was a very wise woman, so there was no real need to interrupt her. Okay.
That's so true.
And he's saying you're very wise as well, but people keep interrupting you. They don't give you the chance to have your say. All right. And that's what he's saying. I want you to have your say, to be able to express yourself more. And I get the sense this is what it is with the fairy ring here, that you're going to say, you know what? I'm just doing it. And you're going to have more fun next year. All right. And I mean, the freedom of fun.
Just do it, Debbie. Just do it.
Absolutely. Just do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
All right. So I hope that makes sense to you. And he's just going, oh, it's a big, blowing a big kiss to you.
Aw, thank you so much. And it does. It totally resonates and makes a lot of sense. The last 6 months I've had to put like everything that I was focusing on kind of just went on hold because I'm going through a divorce, and that's taking up all of my time and energy and lowering my vibration. And so I have not been able to delve into the spiritual gifts that I was working on and were awakening. And I just haven't been able to devote the time or the energy to it because I've been spending so much time and energy and focus on everything the lawyers have me doing and, you know, trying to not go insane from what my husband's doing to me. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to being through with this and being able to finally step into what does bring me joy, helping other people and you know, bringing through messages that help other people and healing for other people and getting back to having fun again and laughing again and raising my vibration again. I'm looking forward to that very, very much.
He's saying that your husband, that you're going through all this, he said, don't worry, it will come back and bite him really bad.
Yeah, okay. I know. I've been trying to not like go to the places he's going. Like, I haven't said anything nasty or called him any names or just keep. Yeah, I know his karma's gonna get him for what he's doing. So I'm just trying to. I just keep forgiving over and over because you know I know he doesn't like doing is going to come back and get them.
Yeah, you know? It is. You know, I always say, as you sow, so shall you reap. What we put out, we get back. No avoiding that. We can try.
Good luck. Thank you, Debbie, for calling in tonight.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you for having me, and I thank you, Debbie, and Merry Christmas to you and Chris, and Merry Christmas to all of you, Jason, Jamie, and Rob, and you and your families. Have a blessed Christmas.
You too. Have a Merry Christmas, Debbie. See, that's why I said this time of year is perfect to have like mediums on consecutively because it's this time of year people have a lot of stuff and family and the future and all that stuff. That just seems to be the time. We got the people are trying. People are calling in right now, so I want to make sure we get to these last calls. We got somebody at 618 area code.
Hi.
Hi. Who do we got?
You have Spooky.
Susie.
Spooky.
Spooky. Oh, Spooky. Hey, thanks for calling in, Spooky.
I love it. Is that the name?
How are y'all doing? I can barely hear on the phone.
Oh.
I just wanted a reading. I haven't had a reading in a while, and I just want to know if things are going to get better because 2019 has just been a bad year for me.
Oh, I hear you.
It has been. And here's the thing, I want to share this with everybody at the moment, and I will get to you, hon, because as we go into 2020, it's about balance. It's about everything is balancing. So we have the male, the female, the good, the bad, okay? All of these things are going to be balanced. I always say to people, it's like the battery. You've got the negative on one end and you've got the positive on the other end, and you need both of them for things to function. But next year is going to be about the balance. And yeah, I can let everybody know. So just step back and go, okay, she said this is going to happen. When we move into January of this coming year, 2020, it's going to be a bit explosive. So if you've not got stuff that you need to clear out and get dealt with, get rid of it, get sorted. Don't sit on it, please, because January will be a bit explosive. It won't go into the, oh, nice, everything's going to be smooth and great. Okay, but here's what I want to give you. This is the card that came out, Abundant Blessings. So 2020 for you, hon, it's going to be a bit like the heartbeat to start with. Up and down, up and down. But we need the heartbeat because if it was running like that, we'd be flatlining and then we'd be dead. So you're going to still have a few little bumps and hurdles to get over, but it's not going to be like a zigzag. It's not going to be up and then down and then up and then down, because that's what your year, this year, has been like. It's like you've got to the peak of the mountain and then you've dropped to great height. And then you climb back up the mountain again and you dropped again. And I'm telling you, all I can say is you've got a lot of tenacity, lady. You have a lot of tenacity. Okay, so Spirit is just saying to you, this is your payback, your abundant blessings. Things are going to work out for next year, but there's going to be the little hurdles.
No, I hope so.
Okay, Blips are okay. We can deal with blips. It's what I call it when the shift hits the fan. And I did say, okay.
Shift.
When the shift hits the fan, okay, because we have no other way to deal with it. I have I do have a gentleman in spirit for you, and he's a good friend of yours that passed into spirit about 2 to 3 years ago. 2 to 3 years ago. And you and he had a lot of laughs. And when I'm seeing this gentleman standing here wanting to talk to you, he's saying, I want to hear you laugh. He said, because you've got a very infectious laugh, hon. And when you start to laugh, almost like if I was in your presence, even though I may not have heard the joke or know what it was about, I would feel this need that I would start to laugh alongside you because you have an infectious laugh. He says he wants to hear that next year. He also
okay, so things are going to start a little rough then, huh?
Yeah, well, they've been a bit rough for a lot of people this year. I think this has been our clearing out year. And I was saying, if you've skeletons buried, dig them up now and smash the smithereens out of them. And that's for everybody listening. Okay. We've only got a few days left before the end of the decade. So get your shovel, dig up the skeletons, and then smash them into dust. You don't need to be dragging them along with you or have them there buried at the bottom of your backyard or your garden. Okay, so he just he wants to hear you laugh again. He said, because we had good time together. We had good time memories with you. And
I know who you're talking about. And he's right. We had a lot of good times together.
And he said, and you're going to have the good times coming. You've cleared out a lot of people from your life this year. Okay. He's saying
yes, I have.
A lot of people out from your life. He said, but they were all hangers on. Okay. He said, hangers on. They basically needed you and used you for what they wanted for themselves.
Right.
Glad you've seen through that. He said, I'm glad you've seen through that. He said, because if he was alive, he was quite a blunt man, as in he would tell you these things. He wouldn't candy coat it. All right. So
no, he didn't.
And he wishes you a Merry
Christmas. No, he wouldn't. He was very forward.
He said, and raise a glass for me. And he said, and you better put enough in it that you can enjoy it.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Spooky. You have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, hon.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I hope every one of you have a very Merry Christmas.
Always, always.
All right, I want to make sure we get to it because we got somebody else holding on line here. I don't want to run out of time. We got 306 area code. Who do we got on the line?
Hi, good evening. This is Jarvis.
Hi, Jarvis. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, calling from Saskatchewan.
Oh!
I was adopted as a baby, and I have no idea who my birth parents are. And I'm kind of wondering if I should, I'm almost 50, and I'm kind of wondering if I should try to find out who they are, or if they're trying to find me, or if I should just sort of leave the past in the past.
Okay, so on that one, the card that I pulled was Rain Dance. And it's almost like the shadow of things here. So Rain Dance is this almost like a version, a mirror image there. And it's when I see the person, they got like their toe on it and they're in full flight. But they're also standing motionless at the same time. And I get the sense from the lady in spirit that's sharing this with me. She said, if you want to go and explore, then do so. But you may not get the answers you want. Okay. This lady is on mother's side of the family.
Okay.
And with her...
Yeah, I've just been... Go on.
Yeah. With her, she's just saying, sometimes when you open up things from the past, it only gives you more questions and not the answers you were hoping for.
Yeah, that's part of my problem right now, is that I'm feeling very kind of stuck and in a rut, and I need a new job and a new direction, and I feel like maybe that's part of the puzzle that I need to get that fixed, or just leave it and get away from it and put it to bed, you know.
Yeah. Here's the thing, to do with the job, she's saying you're very clever at what you can do, and you don't just have one string to your bow. You understand what I mean by that? Like some people, they can only just do one thing. And you
need I think
to, it's almost like expand what you do. Expand. She's going like this. Okay. Have you, all right. She's saying, sit down and write out what you want to do, because you've never done that.
Okay.
So take a moment to write down some of the, and I'm not just talking about job here. I'm talking about there's things that you want to do and you've not done. What do they call it? A bucket list. Okay, so your bucket list, but she's saying you're very, because she's doing this with her hands, so you're very good with your hands. Very good with your hands.
That could be true. Yeah, that could fit, because I can play music, and I do photography, so that's sort of with the hands as well.
All these different strings to your bow, and it's like you've not done what you've enjoyed for a long time.
That's true.
Many years ago, I can remember somebody saying to me, and I do believe this fits today with all of us. It's not, find something we love to do and the money will come. Because that usually is the way. Like when we go after the job because it's about the money, it never gives us exactly what we want. Whereas if we go after the job that we enjoy, that it feeds us, nourishes us, if you like, spiritually or in some other way other than a financial return, then the money does come. And I get the sense that's with you. You've also been very much a cautious man through your life. And this lady saying...
Yeah, I've compromised a lot, taken the safe route, and it's never really paid off.
Okay, don't compromise anymore. What is it? Somebody said to me, go home.
Yeah.
All right, so look at this, at what you want out of your life. Okay.
Do you think a physical move is beneficial for me?
If it's for the right reasons. Do you understand that? Like when
because there's a lot riding on whether I stay or whether I go.
Sometimes we think if we move,
it's going to affect other people.
But what happens is all the things come with us. So you've got to move for the right reasons, because everything's still going to go with you. So if there's things that you need to disengage with or release, then do it. But I get the sense the job is going to be the first part of that. Okay, what you want from life. Because it's not, I always say we're a long time dead. Okay? So, go for what you want, hon, because you haven't up till now.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
you very much.
The safe route. Okay, so I'm not saying throw caution to the wind, but start working on what you want. Okay?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jarvis. You have a Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. That's probably the last call. Don't think we could fit anything more because we're almost towards the end of the show. But I find it interesting watching you getting, especially when you have a medium on, we get to watch him on video. Watching how you stop and go, wait, like you see the things going on, like they're showing you different things. I find that so interesting.
Yeah.
The way they communicate.
So if somebody's there with having a reading for me and I'm doing that, and sometimes I'll have this sort of like mini argument with spirit. Well, you've got to give me more. You're not giving me enough here for me to try and explain this, or I could waste an hour here trying to, do.
Are you like talking to them in your head? Like,
oh yeah.
Like, yeah.
And sometimes they can be what I call visually in front of me or to the side. So, I'll sometimes do this to somebody because they're there next to me, and or I'm going ahead, or they're standing behind the person I'm doing the reading for. So yeah, it can be a bit freaky for sometimes people.
All right, I'm gonna pull one more card for myself. I want to tell you what you think it means for me. Okay, I'll pull one more card. Let's see which one flops out. Let's see, one card. All right.
Shuffle them well, boy.
Oh my God! You know which I did? I really was been shuffling them. You want to know what card I pulled out?
Go on, tell me.
The one. Remember, I said this card keeps calling me, and it keeps calling me.
Yeah.
The time lapses.
And I'm not going to do the reading for you. What are you concluding that spirit are trying to tell you?
That I've been counting down the days to something I'm trying to hope might happen. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're trying to harness something you can't.
There you go.
Okay. Sometimes we try and wrap the lasso around it. As I said, that has no hands on there, are so distant, so faint that we don't have to have the specifics. Just trust in it. Gosh, trust has come out how many times tonight?
Right.
All right. I'm going to pull one for you. It's my final one for you.
All right.
And if I get the same one as you did, then I'm going to go, holy shit. Holy shit.
It's late. Oh, shift.
I said, holy shift, okay? Got the Muse. All right.
What is it?
The Muse.
The Muse. Oh, that was another card I liked when I was going through the deck.
It's the enigmatic smile of this person there. I always say this is like spirit watching over you. All right. This beautiful spiritual being, because you do have a female guide that works with you, by the way, Jay.
Really?
Jason, yeah. All right. And I get the sense with her, she's almost like a nun.
Really?
All right. Somebody.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Of that.
That's really interesting because I had a very vivid dream. One of my those dreams you hang on to.
Yeah.
And she looked like Mother Teresa in it. Like she was in the Virgin. She looked like Virgin Mary more, like beautiful.
Very pure of heart.
Right.
And here's the thing with this, there's a pathway. The door is not open yet, but you have the light underneath it, meaning there are the possibilities there. And she's just guiding you. You've just got to trust. Again, just trust in this. Listen.
Oh.
Sometimes we don't have to have the divine plan set out. Day 1, I do this. Day 2, I do that. Day 3. Okay. Now, you're a parent. You're a father. You're a husband. You're a brother. You're a son. You have all these different roles that you have in life, the hats that we wear. But you don't have to be concerned about every minute detail. And you are very much minute detail oriented. That's okay. And nothing wrong with that. But in some of these things, you cannot set them down into the infinite. Because even if I said to you, okay, tomorrow you're going to do this, and you'll go, yeah, but what time do I do it? Okay, so you don't have to be that finite. But she will talk to you. Again, like I said at the beginning here, before you go to bed, you can have conversations with your guides and helpers. They're there. They want to help you. Holy Hannah, they're there. They want to help you. You've just got to ask. So ask for help. if there are situations coming up with.
I have been.
Struggle with something, then just say, I need some insights on this, please.
I have been asking a lot lately.
Yeah.
Actually.
Just listen, because I get the sense she's been telling you, and you're going, yeah, but give me a little bit more proof.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
You heard did you heard a little bit of my story to Jamie before the show about my mojo bag?
Oh, your mojo bag. Yes.
Yes. I don't want to get into the details, but I got into some spell stuff, whatever, and I have a mojo bag. And in the middle of the night, I forgot to put it by my bedside table, and I heard the clink of the coins in this bag drop next to my ear. Turn around, I'm like, oh, I forgot to put that there. Was that my guide?
Yes.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so clear as day. I heard those.
They're there to help us. They're there to help us. And we've just got to ask, can you help me with this? And if you're
I've been
not
asking.
sure, and I always say this is another little insider tip I'll give you here. When we want something, I always say, I want XXX or something to my highest good or something better. Then we're not defining it that we really know what we need, because we don't. We're leaving it up to spirit to guide us to that. So sometimes it's like, I want this house. This is the only house I want. Then we don't get it. We're devastated. Whereas perhaps a house is full of dry rot or something like that, or it's not going to bring us what we need. Whereas the next house is that we find. But because we're so hooked into that house, because we think it's the best thing, that we don't see anything beyond it. So by saying, I want this house or something to my highest good or something better, when we don't get it, we go, well, okay, it wasn't the right thing. That's great. Let's move on to the next one.
It's funny that you say houses, because a lot of times when I'm thinking about stuff and whatever, and I'm like saying, yeah, spirit, is when I'm looking at Zillow or I'm looking at houses. So I kind of find it funny that you picked houses in that statement. We're at the end of the show, though. We are out of time. Debbie, one more time, give out your website again for people where they can find you.
It's vibrational-energy.com, and you hit that landing page, all the stuff's there.
All that stuff. Check out. It's a beautiful. Thank you again for the very beautiful deck. And I can't believe I pulled out the time lapse card. I was like, I'm gonna pull one more card. And it's the same card that's been drawing me all night. And the other one that I was gonna say drew me was the Muse card, and then you pulled that out. So that's ours.
Great compliment.
Well, I love this deck. I would definitely want to learn more how to use it. Maybe our next psychic game night we'll try this out. I'll try to do a reading on my own using it. We'll see how that goes. Remember, we were allowed to crash and burn on psychic game night. Thank you again, Debbie. We will definitely get you back on the show. You always blow us away with your readings.
Thank you.
Next Sunday, we're going to have Rob Gutro, another returning guest. He is a pet medium. He actually communicates with pets, living and deceased. He was amazing last time, so I can't wait to have him back on. And we'll have the phone lines open again where you can call in and talk to Rob, just like you did to Debbie. Debbie, you were amazing tonight. Have a Merry Christmas, Debbie. Tell Chris I said I have a Merry Christmas as well. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share the show out. That's the biggest way you can help. Share Paranormal Soup out to your friends. Tell them about Paranormal Soup if they're into the weird. Or if somebody asks you a question about the paranormal, like, hey, you know what you should do? Check out Paranormal Soup. I know, shameless plugs everywhere you can for Paranormal Soup. $2 a month can help us out as well. If you want to help us out on Patreon, go ahead. But sharing the show is the biggest help out to this, letting everybody know. All right, guys, have a great, we'll see you before the new year, December 29th. That'll be our New Year's show. And then it'll be into 2020. I can't wait to see what will happen. We got a lot of great things coming. All right, guys, have a great night. See you next Sunday.
Bye.
Thank you.